Anyways, let's talk about some music. That's going to make for a interesting intro. So, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review. Me and Rob are hanging out today, and we are talking the most punk rock band in the history of punk rock music. Blink-182, folks, dude.
Unquestionably.
People get so upset that I cover them on this channel, and I'm like, do you think I only cover street punk stuff? No, dude. Like, I cover all kinds of music. It's got to be punk rock adjacent at minimum, but I cover all kinds of music on here, man. If I want to cover an emo band, I will. Blink-182 is an emo band now, by the way. Like, that's what I meant by that.
And to be fair, Blink-182 has always claimed to be crappy punk rock. Just because they're not good punk rock doesn't mean that they're not punk rock, and that should be very, very clear.
And we'll talk about that again in a minute, but I didn't think this was going to work that well. It's still really fucking hot.
Yeah, I haven't got a swig of mine either. That's why I keep going.
I just started drinking coffee like a few days ago, so I'm trying to I know, appetite suppressant, like just kind of keep me full a little bit. Also, some caffeine without sugar. I can drink it with just a little bit of sweet and low, and I'm fine.
You gotta go straight up a gravel, man.
No, sir. No, sir. I am not a man. Okay. Here's the deal. I did it again, bro. I've got 30 songs.
So hey, I can match your energy this week. I have 3 different lists. I have 142, a 47, a 20, and a 10. So I only have the 10 is the one that's like more specific, but yes, I feel you.
Okay, so I did separate my top 10 from the other ones. So I want to talk about these other songs because basically what I did is I picked out all the songs by Blink-182 that I like enough to put on a playlist. Now that doesn't mean that there's not songs missing that are great, because there are. I'm talking about if I'm listening to a specific playlist that I made, this will be the ones that I put on it. Now, there's a lot of material from Dude Ranch, Enema of the State, even Take Off Your Pants. There's a lot of material from those albums that are missing from my list. That does not to mean that those are not great songs. It just means that my personal favorites for my small playlist would be these. I want to go ahead and say right now up front, this is a subjective list. If you disagree, I don't care. And I don't say that to be rude. I say that to just throw me your list in the comments. You don't have to tell me I'm wrong. Just show me I'm wrong. Put your list there, and that'll be you telling me that I'm wrong. You don't have to be rude about it. People got so upset about the other list that we make, and I don't get it. If you're going to come here and be a douche, I'm going to treat you like a douche, and I'm going to block you. I'm just going to start blocking people. Censorship 2024. It's in. I'm doing it. I don't care. I just don't got time for it. It's a time management thing, folks. Okay. I'm not good at time management. I talk way too much. So, okay. I have 2 topics, speaking of time management, that
on that note.
Yeah. On that note, I got 2 topics that I want to just quickly touch on.
In between your rant about how you're not good at time management, okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's the age-old question.
All right.
I've been doing this a lot lately. Like, what was better, this album or this album? What song performed better? I've been doing this on a lot of my videos. So what I want to ask is, who is better? Matt Skiba or Tom DeLonge?
Incomplete question. What's the question?
I was hoping you'd get there, because that's not the whole question. Like, that's the title of the video, of course, with a Blink-182 backdrop, just to get people the real question is just like, what are you talking about? Like, who's better at what? Not
enough info given is my response to that question.
Right. Yeah. So the real question would be, it's a twofold question. Who was better with Blink-182 and why? And who's the better songwriter? Because I think they both have a very specific answer, and they both have a right answer. And I think that it's a conversation that needs to be had more, because they're so closely linked. And I don't want to be an idiot and be like, Matt Skiba was better for Blink-182, even though I'm a Skiba simp. Okay, I get it. I know. But the real deal is that Tom's the better part of Blink-182. I like a lot of his songs better than I do Mark's songs. Not a ton better. I like Mark Hoppus a lot. But when I was doing this stuff, that's when this all popped in my head. I was like, I got to bring this up, because if you'd have asked me, who do you like better, Mark Opposite Tom DeLonge. I would have said Mark like off the cuff, but I don't know that that's true. I like the lyrical content that Tom brings, and his voice is more my speed too. I found out.
I don't disagree with anything you just said, and I didn't have that revelation till literally like 3 months ago, because
weird,
I've always been such a Mark guy, like very specifically, and even like my list today, it's mostly Mark songs. Okay. But when I think about what makes Blink-182, it's Tom, actually. Like Mark is kind of the baseline of their sound. I think he is their sort of frontman. He is their lead singer in that kind of way. But what gives them their uniqueness? What makes them the crappy punk rock? What gives them all their little flavor? No matter what style that they're doing, whether they're doing the emo style or the pop punk style, it is Tom. It is what Tom brings that sort of levels them out. It is Tom that kind of makes them Blink-182. That's why that's also the answer to the first question. It's who was better in Blink-182. Tom was better for Blink-182. And I think both of those are the truth.
So my response to that would be, that's a subjective statement. So you're right because it's your opinion. Mm-hmm. I still think the answer to that question would be Tom, but I like Mark better. I like the style of music he plays better. I like him as a person better. Mm-hmm. It just happens that like I like Tom's voice and lyrics better. Everything else, give me Mark. But Tom's voice, I like, and it's not by much, dude. I'll take Mark's voice. I'm not complaining. Mm-hmm. And you'll see when we get to my list, you're going to be like, oh, wow. Like when we get the top 10 is, I apologize in advance for my top 10. It is definitely just mine. Nobody else cares about my top 10 than me. But I would say that Tom's the reason that they went the direction they did that turned me off of the band. So while objectively, did they do the things they did because of him, and that makes him the one that you would say is the better part? Mm-hmm. I would have to concede that that's the truth. But I prefer where they were headed with like Dude Ranch. Enema was a little too polished for me. But you know, the success that they got, some of the crazy stuff that they did, it was because of Tom.
I think
you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you're saying. Because if like you concede, because that's my problem with the Skiba stuff in general, is that I would be okay if the Skiba stuff was trying to be like Dude Ranch. I didn't like the Skiba stuff trying to be Neighborhoods and the Untitled album. I don't think the Skiba trying to do that version of Tom didn't really work as well as if whenever he kind of tried to do just original Blink-182, then it was just kind of Alkaline Trio, and it was kind of okay whenever it went into that. So I agree. If you don't like the direction that Blink went into, then I could see that as like a demerit against Tom, the way that you're saying.
And I don't like it at all.
Yeah. I also think though, the only thing about that is a lot more credit of that in general needs to go to Travis, because I think if it was always just Mark's band, it would have been just kind of very light, even lighter pop punk than it was to start with. That's what it would have been. You know what I mean? Yeah. And even to this day, the way they still write songs, like Mark has said, that him and Tom basically write what they call like nursery rhyme punk, and they send it to Travis, and Travis basically chops and screws it and sends it back to him, and that's how they make modern Blink. So it's the combination of both of those guys, really, and those are the two camps always of the band. You know, Travis gets along with both the guys, but like whenever there was the big split, he was the go-between. He was still friends. Yeah. He was still friends with Tom, and he was still in the band with Mark. So it's also Travis is somewhat to blame for that, but Travis is such a big figure on his own that it's never like Mark versus Tom versus Travis. Travis is kind of his own being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to be real clear for anybody that's already pissed off in the comments, dude, I don't have any like, I love this band, and that includes all three members of the band. And hopefully people paid attention to what I was saying when I said that most of the songs that I really enjoy are Tom DeLonge songs, because people tend to like grab a hold of like 4 or 5 words that I'll say in a video, and they'll respond to that as if that was my opinion. And it's just stupid. I don't know any other way to say it. It's so dumb, because I spend time arguing with these idiots. Why are you getting the comments? Because that's what I'm available, man. That's what I do. I'm part of, it's a community to me. So hopefully people will understand that. Okay. That out of the way. Oh, wait, no. We didn't talk about, okay, so that's a 2-pronged question. The second part was like, who's the better songwriter? Matt Skiba or Tom DeLonge? I stand very firm on the Matt Skiba part, because I would say that Blink wouldn't have gotten where they got without the influences of Matt Skiba That comes from Tom DeLonge's own mouth. He has said that, not me. So if you want to yell at somebody, yell at Tom. But I think that they kind of needed each other more than they ever knew. And I think that Alkaline Trio has benefited somewhat from Matt being in Blink a little bit. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I think that you'll see when we get to my list, dude, there is a lot of songs off of California and 9. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Like, yeah, I have 30 songs on my list, and I would say half are probably from those 2 albums. Maybe not half. A good chunk, though. But you'll see why. Now, my top 10, not so much. But, that's why I kept the other 20 songs. I wanted to throw some shine on 2 albums that I personally really enjoy. Not enough to, like, I don't even know if I own those. I think I have 9. I don't think I have California. Whatever, though. It's all good. Okay, so what do you think about that? Do you think that Skiba was the best? It's kind of a loaded question because
that's hard
Blink
because
fans are going to get really pissed.
Yeah, because I like Alkaline Trio better than Blink, so I'm going to say that it's Skiba just by kind of default. You know what I mean? But I also think it's kind of an unfair question in that same as they did do different things though too. Like sort of. Yeah, I don't know that. Like, I don't know. I
mean, how different are they? They're not that different.
But I don't know. Like, yeah, I would take songs written by Matt Skiba than songs written by Tom DeLonge. If that's just what the question is, then that is what it is. And
like I said,
I don't know that Matt Skiba like necessarily would have had Tom DeLonge's career if he had been in his position though either. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if
that doesn't
Matt
mean
Skiba
he's not better.
Is writing those songs, that doesn't happen. But yeah, but if you're asking me, do I like Alkaline Trio better than Blink-182? Then yes. Like that's to me the only way you can really answer that question then.
Because saying like I don't know if he'd have his career if given the same position is to me sounds like, well, I don't know if Willow's Barbecue in Texas would have the same career as Chili's or Applebee's. Given he did have the same position, he didn't take it. His food is far better, but it just wasn't in the cards for him to be a giant chain. Blink-182 is the giant chain. Alkaline Trio is the smaller independent place that you go and enjoy, a little bit better quality, but it's a little harder to get
more of a regional chain, I would say. If we're gonna,
yeah. So like, and I don't mean that to disrespect anybody. People stop taking shit. I hate that I have to say this stuff, but stop taking this stuff as disrespect. It's just a conversation. If I didn't like Blink-182, I sure as hell wouldn't be spending time talking about them, listening to them, and making podcasts about it. Okay, so we've established that Matt Skiba is the superior. No, I'm playing.
I was like, wait a minute, hey, I'm not coinciding it. I'm going along there. Look at that. Look at that. You almost caught me there,
dude. I know. No, man. I was just curious. I think it's an interesting conversation. I think it's one that needs to be had because I think that they're so more closely linked than even I realized. That I have to concede that Tom is a very integral part of just where they've gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that, man, dude, I don't know that they would have gotten there without Matt Skiba's influences on Tom. And there's more than just Matt Skiba influences. Like, I didn't say that either. He's got tons of influences. You can hear the Smiths and the Cure all throughout their later material.
They do like the same stuff, by the way. Like, that's also the thing.
That's kind of, I know, but
they are fans of like that 80s new wave. Like, both of those guys are very much fans of that.
The issue isn't whether or not we know that. The issue is that a bunch of Blink stans on the internet don't listen to anything but Blink. So they have no idea what they're talking about. And they get in the comments and they're like, fucking, I know what I'm talking about because I'm 17 and on a computer. Like, I fucking hope you choke on your Dino Nugget, kid. Like, fuck off. Anyways, they're so good, bro. I only know that they're good because we have them in my house.
So. If you have kids, you have Dino Nuggets. Yes.
I have a 3-year-old, bro. Of course I have Dino Nuggets, and I eat them. I don't eat them anymore because I'm on a diet, but I did eat them, and they were delicious.
What a quick lunch.
Okay, so last thing I want to talk about before we talk about Blink songs is Blink albums. Okay, I want to do something that I don't do all the time. I have to concede that Dude Ranch is my favorite Blink-182 record. But I think Enema of the State's a better album. And I think that I wouldn't have said that a few months ago. Even when we did our like rankings, I don't think I said it like that.
No, you had it.
But listening to all the songs again and again and again, I've been listening to this a lot lately. Excuse me. It has been made abundantly clear that Dude Ranch is better to me because it's my opinion, because it means something to me. But if you look at it from an objective perspective and go, okay, what is just better? That Enema of the State is a perfect pop punk record. And I mean, I have it on vinyl, but I got it on CD as well. I wanted to show you guys something in a second, but I want to get your take on this album. Do you think this is a perfect record?
Well, I mean, I'm not just saying it. Rick Beato said it. It's the perfect rock record when he said it. I think he's absolutely right. It absolutely.
Who said it?
Rick Beato,
Who's that?
The producer guy, the big YouTube producer guy that makes all the videos, breaking down all the songs, is huge on YouTube. You should get on YouTube. It's a great place. Anyway,
you know what I'm saying? I'm in my own little bubble, man.
But yeah, so I agree generally with your take. You probably like Dude Ranch is also my number one Blink album because it's number one to me, as you're saying. Enema though, yeah, it probably is like their greatest album. And you talk about there's like one song on there that I kind of don't listen to all the time, and it's literally I've heard it 900,000 times. It's called All the
which
Small
one?
Things.
Oh,
that's the one song that I ever kind of skip over on that album, and just because I am sick of it.
So I listened to this in my car with my kids, and we listened to All the Small Things twice. I still love that song. I still jam it. I still think it's great.
I'm not saying it's not.
I think I've gotten lapped with like my exhaustion by that song has lapped me, and I'm back to liking it again. Because I definitely there was a point where I didn't want to hear anything off the album because I had heard it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm back to where I'm like, no, this is great again. Probably because I have kids with me hanging out, and it's a catchy, fun song, and they're giggling and listening to it. And I thought, man, am I gonna really spend the money to see Blink at some point? Damn it, I probably will take my kids to go see them. I don't know if I'll because we don't have enough money for that. But
I'm gonna see him in a couple of months.
Nice. Where
at? Back at the scene of the crime, Vegas.
With who?
Huh?
With who?
They're coming with someone I don't like.
Oh, okay.
It's it's one of those like later emo bands.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. I wish I could go with you.
I wanted to after catching them on this past October, I wanted to catch them again just on a set that's theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just like whatever, just back to the scene of the crime.
That's awesome.
In that same city, yeah.
So my last part of this question before I show you what I was going to show you, and I'm more showing it to the audience than you because you've already seen it. But do you think this is the best pop punk album of all time?
It's probably the biggest, but like I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'd have to really, really think about it. As far as like mainstream pop punk, like that TRL pop punk, then probably.
Well, that's okay. Okay. Yes. And I say yes because it is the perfect blend of pop and punk. That it's the one that encapsulates pop punk the best to me, even though I oftentimes say they're not a pop punk band because I think of more of like Teenage Bottle Rocket as pop punk stuff, Ramones type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think often has been, shouted down. People don't like what I think often. So, so I will say that, yes.
What am I looking at?
People hate it when you use logic and common sense. They don't like that shit, dude. The world is lacking in those two things. But yeah, I think it is the best pop punk album of all time. It stands the test of time for sure. When I listened to it, bro, it was hard for me not to put 10 songs off this album on this list.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think, like, honestly, if you were just to get the music from 1998 or 1999 when this came out, it's just good pop music from the decade too. A lot more so than a lot of other pop punk. Like, to be fair to other pop punk, it's still so much rooted in punk rock that when you get down to the surface, we've talked about this before, like, maybe the mainstream wouldn't like that so much once you got past the singles. I'm pretty sure anyone can, like, as long as you can deal with the vulgarity of it, this is clean enough that, like, I'm pretty sure my stepmom had this album at some point. You know what I mean? Like, just because it was just one of those things. But it's also like, I wouldn't say it's a punk rock record necessarily.
No,
you can tell these guys came from punk rock. Like, it's very obvious that is where they come from, and it is the root of these songs.
The reason that this isn't a punk rock record is because these dudes these were soft dudes. They're from the suburbs, man. Like, they didn't grow up even the way that I grew up. Like, so then
Pennywise isn't punk rock, and Bad Religion's not punk rock, and NoFX isn't punk rock.
I would say those dudes are very different.
But they all grew up with, like, again, you want to talk about where they literally Fat Mike Beverly Hills. A Bad Religion had a freaking butler. Mr. Brett had a butler.
Did he really? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like those.
Okay,
that's all
I guess my initial reasoning would be skewed then. So I have to say you're right about that. It just okay. Maybe it's the feeling I get about it. Then it's like they feel like they're from the suburbs, whereas like NoFX and them don't. Like they were like more troublemakers. They were troubled. These guys don't feel. That's what it probably is. It's probably not even a suburban thing. It's like these dudes weren't troubled dudes. They were just guys that liked some punk rock stuff. So they made music and they also listened to the radio. Whereas like NoFX and those guys didn't do any of that. They liked punk music. They played punk music. They wanted to be punk rockers. Whereas I don't think they cared at all about being punk rockers. Does that make sense?
So here's the thing. They were super.
I know what I'm trying to articulate, and I'm not doing a very good job, so I'm going to get roasted for this, but it is what it is.
No, but they are more. They're no pun intended. They are the descendants of the Descendants and the Ramones. They are in that track of punk rock. That is where they are coming from. I would say.
Blink,
yeah. Blink comes from the Descendants, which comes from like the Ramones and that sort of track of punk rock. I would say it's more rooted in there. So like it's funny because Blink is, you say like all Blink cared about in their younger days was like being punk rockers or being punk. They're just from San Diego. That is really what it is. They're from San Diego versus being from LA or the Bay Area. So they're from over there.
That's the better way to put it.
And so
that's the better way to put it.
And talking about a little bit in Ozzy's book, he actually mentioned how they were more associated with like the clothing brands of like the X Games kind of stuff instead of necessarily like, so they were more into like the skate, specifically like the skate brands and stuff, whereas these other ones are more in LA and stuff. So they're thought of like that. They are also just, let's just face it, like better looking people, and I think that plays into it. I think seriously, they look more like Hollywood stars. That they look like they would be in a boy band versus like what Fat Mike and Smelly look like.
Well, these guys are they're like the PacSun and Zoomies punks versus like the dirty record store punks. And when I said suburbs, what I was really meaning was like, I think I really meant California. And I didn't mean it disrespectfully either. I think, because if you look at all the music I like, my favorite band is Rancid. They happen to be from California, but everything else I listen to is very East Coast. Like a lot of oi, a lot of rock and roll punk, a lot of Southern punk stuff.
But that's why I think you have to always make it clear that bands like Blink aren't that far removed from these other California skate punk bands.
Well, that's the point I'm making, is that I don't listen to the other stuff like that as much.
Right. And I think
that's why I said that. It wasn't to be disrespectful.
Right. And I think I always want to make the point, like you can bring Blink, you can sort of say it to denigrate Blink that they're not in punk rock or say it bring down like NoFX and Lagwagon and all those bad and Pennywise and bring them all. Yeah. They're actually more like Blink as well. It just happened that Blink is the one that kind of made it out of that crew. They sort of
let's not confuse things, dude. If Lagwagon had the opportunity to be Blink, they would, and I wouldn't be mad about that.
Right. And even NoFX, they were stressed about it, and they looked at Blink specifically like, hey, we're kind of just not like as cute as them, and we're not as good as them, so we can't quite do it. But they fully acknowledged they were sort of in the same, they were part of the same stew that they all came out of.
Far superior songwriters though, and musicians. Well, maybe not. Travis is pretty freaking amazing. But like, dude, NoFX is so much better than Blink at songwriting and playing their instruments.
Well, playing their instruments, yes. Songwriting depends what type of songs you're thinking of, though.
Punk rock songs.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't listen to anything but punk rock primarily. So like, I wouldn't be talking about pop songs. I don't give a shit about pop songs, which is why I don't like the later Blink-182 stuff, because it leans way heavier into the pop than it does the punk. Mm-hmm. So
but you also don't like early Blink-182 either. So I'm not sure what Blink-182 you like.
Only because it sounds so bad. Like it's like if it was recorded better, then maybe the songs would stick out to me more. But the recordings are so bad. They were so bad at what they were doing. Oh God, it's so bad. I can't listen to it. It's so bad, bro. It fucking sucks. I like 2 albums from Blink. Okay, let's be honest. I like Dude Ranch and Enema of the State. And after that, I couldn't give a shit less. Like the new album is super meh. I went back to it. There's a couple songs I want to talk about, but let's first off, if you're out in the wild and you're shopping at record stores and you see Blink-182's Enema of the State, it'll look like this. All right. If you see a copy that looks like this with the red cross on it, pick it up, because the Red Cross got really pissed about it and they had to recall them. It's just a little nugget out there for you to look for. I believe I found 2 different actual copies. This one doesn't even have the parental advisory sticker on it, so I don't even know if it's a clean copy or not. I hope it's not, but I mean, how often am I going to really listen to it? I bought it mainly for the cover art, but
you should be able to tell by the track listing. I think would be a little bit different.
Oh yeah, I guess it will. Well, this one has bonus songs on it too. This the one with the it's got a whole extra disc. This is an Australian copy, I think. It says it on the back. It says Australia on there somewhere. This is recorded live at the Electric Ballroom in London, England, November 30th, 1999 for this bonus disc. It's got 5 songs. It's got All the Small Things, Dump Weed, What's My Age Again, and then it's All the Small Things single, Dump Weed, What's My Age Again, All the Small Things, and Damn It, all those 4 are live.
Must have been like a UK single that they.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. All right, let's finally get to some song titles.
Yeah.
Only took us half an hour this time.
Sure.
So, since I'm the most unpopular person on YouTube when it comes to Blink-182,
okay,
how do you want to do this? Do you want to take the lead, or because I want to talk about my songs, but I think you have a bigger list. So, if you want, why don't you run through yours and then I'll do mine, and we can chop it up however we need to chop it up.
Okay, let me just go through my main list, and then we can go through your big list. Do you want
that's fine. Yeah, that works for me.
So for my main list, which as he said, this is very much my list. I don't think it's really like the top. If I were to do a video on the top 10 Blink-182 songs, I would probably do it a little bit different. But these are these are my top 10, and then it kind of comes out to maybe about 14 because I counted one song. There's 3 parts. There's 3 different. There's a sequel.
Anthems?
Yeah, there's 3 anthems, so they all got one spot, and then. I did all this and forgot to put Damn It on there because I was like, okay,
wow.
but not because I forgot about Damn It. I was like, let me not consider Damn It because let me look at other songs. And then I filled up my list and forgot to put Damn It. So Damn It's just on there in a spot. So that's all the parts of my list. And I considered everything, did not include anything of the Skiba era. There's some stuff I like from there, but to be honest with you, that stuff and Neighborhoods is just, it's the worst stuff to me in their catalog. It's at the bottom of their catalog.
Dude, so much of that stuff's about to be talked about. So you're good.
Good. I'm looking forward to going to the restroom during that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, taking a shit on me, is that what you're saying?
Yes. And literally like I'm drinking coffee. All right.
Right.
At number 10 from Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, Please Take Me Home. I love the back half of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. I would say actually all 3 of those late 90s, early 2000s albums from Dude Ranch, Enema, and Take Off Your Pants have good starts to them. But really, it's like when you get to like song 6, song 7, right about there, the back half of those albums is what most of my list is. And I have Please Take Me Home as just another one of those songs, just one of those classic relationship songs, one of those Tom songs where he's kind of at that right snotty register where he's doing kind of that sing talky stuff that's I think a lot on Take Off Your Pants was sort of, we didn't realize where they were going to go with Untitled, where they were slowing it down just a little bit, but you couldn't really tell yet the direction they were going to go to. And even a song like this, which is a silly kind of old school, you would think Blink-182 song, but if you look at it, if you slow it down or maybe even down to it, it would sound like a song that would be on one of the later albums.
Dude, going back and listening to this music, I could tell on Enema that they were headed towards self-titled.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that wasn't a surprise to me, or it shouldn't have been, I guess is the right word. Not that it wasn't. It shouldn't have been a surprise.
It was sure a shocker to me, and that'll transition into our number 9 over here because, as I said, even last time we talked about Untitled, as they refer to it in 2003. I didn't like it in 2003. I didn't like it in 2023. Boy, I really like it in 2024, though. So much so I actually bought a shirt last week of this album. That's how much I have completely flipped on this album. Yep.
I don't think I have a single song from that album on my list anywhere.
So to me now, hold
on, let me see. Let me check. Go ahead.
Canon. This is in the canon now of like the great albums where it wouldn't have been. I was putting even some of the Skiba albums above this on our list last time, which I absolutely wouldn't do this time. And
that's the best part of doing this is that when we do a Blink-182 video, and then in 3 more months when we do another one, because we probably will. Our opinions will change a little bit. Like, I don't want anybody to think that this is my opinion permanently for most things. Now, some stuff, like, do I prefer Alkaline Trio over Blink? That's kind of a permanent opinion. But by much, no. It's just a personal thing. I'm like, I'd rather hear, Good Morning than anything Blink's done most of the time. But there are days where I want to hear Dude Ranch or Enema way more than anything Alkaline because they're real dark. And sometimes I don't want to be in a dark mood. But, like, most of the time, my opinion is shifting. It does change. Like, it changes a lot. Like, the Green Day stuff, the new album, I was high on it when I left the place. I came down to earth a little bit. Now I'm kind of thinking like, okay, no, I'm back on the train. I want to hear it some more. Like, we evolve, we change, dude. Like, it is what it is. Sorry, ran over.
Here's the thing about the Untitled album that I want to say, because like I said, I didn't like it at the time, but like I kind of think no matter what Blink would have come out with in 2003, I wouldn't have liked it because I had already kind of moved on to the even though I said yes, it's skate punk too, but more of the Epitaph and Fat stuff. And I just kind of was predetermined to not like whatever Blink was going to come out with. And then they come out with like this emo album, and I really didn't like it. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, now they're completely on a different path. So I don't think I ever really gave that album its full chance. Even over the years, I still thought, well, that's like Blink-182, as I don't like it until literally this last few months, where I just kind of sat down with it and sat with it. And I think, here's the thing. I always hate when I say, oh, you get, older and more mature, but you do sort of acquire more different parts of music. And like, I like more types of music than I did when I was younger. So I can appreciate
that is true.
That was incorporating more different influences into their songs. I don't always like when bands do that, but now I am starting to share some of those odd little influences, or starting to at least appreciate them as they pop up in music.
100%.
And I think, something that these bands like in the 90s and 2000s, whether it's new metal or a lot of this punk that was fusing a lot of this stuff together, we didn't have access to all of it. So now, like, whenever I see that Blink does a song with the guy from The Cure or whatever, I can go listen to The Cure and kind of hear where that was coming from or know where that is. Whenever you hear it, when you're just like 15 in 2003 and you're like, okay, why is the boring gothic dude doing the song with the fun band about the fart jokes? It kind of doesn't make sense. So all that said, I kind of picked a song from that album for number 9. That's actually kind of more of an old Blink-182 style song that was on there. And it was the song I have always liked, titled Go. To me, Go is one of Mark Hoppus's stronger songs. It's very storytelling. Where he said it's about I think it's like about a domestic violence situation, but he names the main character Mark itself in the song.
Okay.
Why do evil men get away with it?
And is that on self-titled?
Yeah.
Dude, so let me interject for just 1 second, because I'm listening to you, and I just don't want to forget to tell you this.
Yeah.
I need you to understand that I did, not you necessarily, but anybody watching this, that like I did listen to this album twice in its entirety while making this list, because the first time I listened to it, I literally was just like shrugging songs off. I was like, I don't like this song. I don't like this song. When I got my list started to take shape, I felt bad. I was like, man, I feel guilty, dude. I know my audience is going to want to hear some stuff about that album. And then I was like, I'm listening to it the second time, and I was like, you know what? You know what my audience really likes about me is that I don't shift or change because of them. Mm-hmm. I do what I do. They either like it or they don't, but they like me for the fact that I stand on my opinions. And so I was like, I'm not going to go and put some stuff in here for the clicks, views, likes, and such. I'll if it falls in there, it falls in there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And again, no disrespect. I just don't like it, man. I can't get into it, dude. I tried, and there's not a song on that album that I think, if I was putting it together, if they gave me 12 slots, make a greatest hits for us, I feel like I could make a pretty good one, but it wouldn't have a single song off that album. And you could even exclude the Skiba stuff. I could still make a great stuff. Take all that shit out too. That's fine. Man, it's hard for me to listen to that record like at all. I don't know what it is, man, because the songs are objectively well written. The production, I think, is pretty good. The vocals are nice. It's just none of the songs speak to me. I don't think that when it came out, I wasn't.
Yeah, and it's their masterpiece record. We've talked about this 4 weeks in a row. Like every band has their masterpiece record. That's theirs. That is.
I disagree. I think
was putting in all the extra elements. I think it is. I think that's their record that goes off on a different track than everything else. Like all of those things.
I guess I simply can't agree, because I don't think it's a very good record. So like, I don't think it's a masterpiece. Whereas all the other albums we're talking about, I think are good records. Whether I listen to them or not, it's so good. I just don't think this is a good album. But if you look at it, so I was trying to figure out like, what the hell was I doing when that album came out, right? In 2003, I was 21 years old. I was at the height of like mohawk, spike shit on my clothes. Like the most punk rock, quote unquote, I've ever been was probably around ages 20 to 25. Ain't no way you'd have caught me dead listening to that record back then, because I didn't like that kind of music back then. Like even a little. I don't think I listened to Blink much back then at all. Like even their old stuff. I listened to Rancid, but like I don't think I listened to even much Bouncing Souls for those few years. I was into more street punks. Did you hear my stomach growl just now? That was loud. Street punk stuff, like really, really punk rock shit, like a lot of D beat stuff. So I think because of where I was at in my life, that album just didn't resonate with me. And if it didn't resonate with me then, it's likely not going to resonate with me now. I haven't changed that much. So I've changed in the aspect of like, I don't do drugs anymore. I'm sober. I got a family. I work. I got my own business. But like me, I haven't changed much, bro. I still have the same opinions. I still like the same shit. I still like the same foods. So like, I think I'm just one of those guys that's kind of stuck liking what I like. I'm very habitual. So like everything I do is the same. It never changes. So why would that change? Even though I like different kinds of music, I think that is something I already discovered. I already didn't like it. Now, if I discover something that was from back then that I didn't like back then, I would have known because I didn't discover it back then. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really did.
I mean, it explains it, but I don't think it gives the album quite its fair like shake by you.
But I did give it its fair shake. I listened to it in its entirety twice, trying to find a song that I liked enough to put on this list.
Well, then I don't think it has anything to do with the context and when it came out. I think you just don't like the album.
I think it absolutely has something to do with when it came out because who I was when it came out. Because I didn't like it then. I didn't like and don't be mistaken. I listened to it back then. Everybody listened to that album back then. I just didn't enjoy it, you know. But I just want people to understand. I did give this album. I listened to this album as much or more than anything else this past week because I was so shocked that I couldn't find a single song to put on the. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, I got to go back and look at my list again. But I don't think there's one on there.
You
I was
probably
really
know
surprised.
It. Like those songs stand out though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would probably know it. Yeah.
Because I don't like the singles off that album. So that those ones you could skip.
Well, and that was part of it for me too, is not really giving the album its fair shot when it came out myself.
Because the singles weren't up
being
your alley.
16 years old and 20, you know, listening to NoFX and Rancid and be like, screw that, Blink-182's for the popular kids kind of stuff. It was kind of highlighted. So that's why
I was just 5 years older doing the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm here like debating you. I had the same exact experience. I'm just saying more recently, I have got like for whatever reason it has it. But we talk about this all the time with music.
Dude, we're different lives, man.
That's what's great about music is it's not like it's gonna go away. It's not like 4 years from now you can't find this record. Just like I kind of found it this year and was just like.
Huh. And I want to be very clear about the fact that if that happens, I personally won't be shocked because I've gone back and found things that I didn't like, be it music, food, clothing, art, whatever. Like, hell,
I had this take with when we recorded in like August. I had the last place album of my albums, and now I bought a shirt from it last week. Like,
so now where do you think you would rank it?
So it's still below. I don't know. It's below the three classics for me. To me, Dude Ranch, Anima, and Take Off Your Pants are just on a whole nother thing. So then it's right there before the old school stuff.
Okay.
And then I'd probably put like the Skiba and more. I don't know where I'd put the new album. Would be, you know, I don't know where I'd put it, but I still would have it below those three classic albums. But it's like the Life Won't Wait kind of thing. I kind of it's their Life Won't Wait. It's kind of its own thing. It's hard to really put it, you know, with that to compete on those same things.
Here's an example of how I can hear something that I probably wouldn't have liked back in the day that I like now. Because if I had heard Father of All when it dropped, I probably would have just rolled my eyes and kept on pushing. But I listened to that album the other day, and it's like my favorite Green Day album. Like, legitimately, I listened to it probably 5 more times since then, just on my own time.
Do what? You and we're not friends anymore. That was it. That was the last straw.
I genuinely don't understand your beef with that record outside the fact that it doesn't really sound like Green Day.
But again, I specifically remember sitting on my couch with my iPad and listening to it. Oh, cool, new Green Day is here. And I was watching like the Pro Bowl or something. And I was sitting on my couch like, this sucks. And then like, that's when they were like, this is your not with trap beats or whatever. Like they were trying to go against the emo rap thing. And they kind of looked like kind of an old ass band for about a year and a half.
What?
That was like the boomer era. That was like their boomer era.
Yeah, I feel it though. I agree. I'm glad. Thank you for that, Green Day. Because
that's why you're clicking with it so well.
I hate that shit, bro. Oh man, I didn't know you liked Machine Gun Kelly so much.
Oh yeah, here I am defending the defender. Look, I'm defending this electronic Blink album. So what the hell? Here we go.
All right, so what we got? Where we at? Number 8.
Okay, the complete opposite end of the spectrum, as pop punky as you can get with Blink. Number 8, the original Blink song "Carousel." I'll go with the Cheshire Cat version, even though like I have a little more sentimental feel towards the Buddha version, just because I own that one and it's a little bit sloppier, and I kind of like that because it really shows like, you know, the progression of the band and that kind of thing. But the version that is recorded for Cheshire Cat right there, that opens that record, is the one.
Yeah, that's definitely the best song on the album for me. But this is cool, man. I just like cool old shit like this. Like, I definitely liked this record more when I first heard it than I do now, because I was, you know, there was a lot less Blink available, so I just liked it because it was Blink. So yeah. I do want to say that, because I often don't say things like that when I should.
Yeah, it's funny. I probably like Buddha more than I like Cheshire Cat. but it's not
really.
They're mostly the same songs. The Cheshire Cat versions are better because Buddha's the demo basically of Cheshire Cat. But there's like the songs that didn't make it on Cheshire that are really good that I would have liked for them to have. Because
which ones? Do you have any on top of your head?
They're called like Don't and oh shoot, I have to look it up. I made a list the other day. I want to make a playlist of this of the ones that weren't there because the songs that there's some good additions that they put on Cheshire, but the additions they put on Cheshire were more actually of the jokey type of songs. It's funny, Buddha is actually slightly more serious, believe it or not, and they were even younger when they made Buddha.
Hold on. Your internet is breaking up super bad.
Okay.
All right. Now say what you're saying again. I didn't hear you.
Okay, so I was gonna say, so some of the what's funny is, again, a lot of Cheshire is just reworked Buddha tracks because Buddha was the demo. But a lot of the songs that they added that weren't a part of Buddha were actually kind of the more silly songs. And actually, ironically, some of the more serious songs were left off of were on Buddha and kind of left to Buddha. And I would have liked to see what those songs would have looked like with the little bit better production that they had with Cheshire, which, by the way, was produced by our guy, Mr. Brett Gurwitz, actually produced Cheshire Cat.
I did not realize that. Does it say it on the back of the tape?
So it should, or at least says West Beach Recorders. So he might not have got the full credit as the person.
It says what?
It either says him or West Beach Recorders, which is his spot.
I'll look it up later. I just want to. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
So, yeah. So, and again, West Beach Recorders was the recording studio that Brett ran as kind of part of Epitaph. Like that was more of his day job, where he'd record anyone, not just punk rock, through West Beach.
That's awesome.
He recorded them, and again, the assumption was that they were going to sign to Epitaph, because that was that's where all their heroes were. That's where NoFX was. That's where Pennywise was. But then what it was is they had a bad deal with their initial indie, so Epitaph would have had to buy the entire label that they were on to kind of sign them. So so they were just going to get a whole lot more money going with the major, and plus Brett liked him, but Brett didn't really think they fit the Epitaph thing, so they were going to be kind of off to the side. They were going to be kind of like the fifth bill, yeah. They would have fit him more later.
More now,
yeah. But
it does say West Beach Recorders, by the way.
Okay, yeah. Next to Pennywise, NoFX, Rancid, and The Offspring, they would have kind of stood out, and a little bit. Thought they would be lower priority versus going to a major that's trying to find the next Green Day that's at least going to throw a lot of money at them. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think Green Day, as much as I don't care for Dookie, I think that's probably the second best pop punk album of all time. But the reason that I said that Enema was is because I personally like it better. So I think that they're 1 and 1A kind of. Give me 1 second, please. One second.
Sure.
You want to go take a leak or something real quick?
Yeah, let me top up my coffee.
Dude, my apologies, man. I don't know what happened. I just all of a sudden couldn't breathe.
You're right.
Like, yeah, dude, my nose just went clog, and I was like, "What the f?" My mom just sent me a text a minute ago, and she said that outside right now it's 23 degrees, but we have a wind chill of almost 11 right now.
Ooh,
like I know, dude. Like, what the f, bro?
So
like,
you gotta watch your pipes and stuff and all that.
Oh, all of our water's running right now. Like, we've had it on since yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
So, all right. 51, 40. Cool.
And I'm being long-winded, but I'm cooking.
That's all right
on all this stuff.
No, this will make for a good long episode, and then we'll have good clips out of it. Hopefully,
a lot to cut. Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, and I do want to add on Carousel that and it's been pointed out, like a lot of early Blink is about two subject matters. It's about not being able to get a girl or like not having a job and money. And that's kind of like
yeah.
So like Carousel, like I love what he's like, you know, a tank of gas is a treasure to me. I know now that nothing is free. I talk to you every now and again. So it's a song that literally weaves both of those things in. It's like she ain't gonna hang out with me because I'm broke. Which is, you know, just a pretty classic thing. And there's a lot of songs on there, and there's a lot of songs like even on Buddha that's like about like I'm not gonna hang out with the upper crust, so to speak. You know, because I have my own integrity or whatever. And it's very like it's a little more intellectual than we often give credit to, like the Fart Joke Band for being. But let's move it to number 7, and this is the last song I have off of the Untitled album, and this one is one that's completely like different than a lot of other stuff I have on here, and it's the song "Violence," which is the number 2 song on there. It's the one that starts out. It almost feels like it's dropping out. It gets into that lo-fi thing, and then it goes into the shouting thing. You know, like "Violence, you had me forever." And to me, this is like the direction.
That's a top 10 song.
Yep.
You cannot say fuck all about anything I have to say about Matt Skiba's Blink songs.
I will.
Bro, if that song is in your top 10, then anything you have to say about it is completely voided. But it's all good. It's subjective.
Yeah. So what I'll say with it, when we talk about what Tom DeLonge brings to the band, so he wanted to go into that boxcar racer kind of mode. And when you talk about where the band was going, would Take Off Your Pants into this one. So the thing is, Mark just wanted to do Blink forever, right?
Yeah, and, I mean, I'm with that.
Yeah, and I think most Blink fans just kind of wanted that. Like, he's not wrong with that. Again, you have sort of the guy into the more of the punk guy of the two, or more into underground music, I'd say would be Tom. Tom was more into different types of underground music, different types of underground emo, different types of hardcore, that type of stuff, different metal and that type of stuff. And you have Travis that's very, very into hip hop. He's into punk as well, but he's into hip hop as well. So it's kind of, this song was kind of them and that boxcar racer feel that Mark really didn't like. Like Mark really wasn't about this sort of style. So, and this song I think very much highlights that Tom and Travis sort of side thing, where there's a lot of rhythms, there's those weird things that they're doing with the beats, there's the yelling, there's the effects, there's all of that stuff. And and it's not really where it's like the sort of Beatles, Ramones, Descendants punk rock that Mark comes from is a lot less emphasized on here.
It's track 2.
I think so. It's either track 2 or track 4. It's either Obvious or Violence. They're very similar songs. But I think it's Violence is track 2. I want to say.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's the last one from Untitled. Now we'll go into what is mostly mainstream Blink-182 or the albums that we talk about. Number 6, I just have anthems listed because I put all 3 anthems on there: Anthem 1, Anthem 2, and Anthem 3. If I had
you like those songs that much, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah, and those ones have always been. And I like the new anthem. The new anthem is the song I'm listening to the most right now of like my most recent songs is Anthem 3.
Yeah, you could probably guess what my only 2 songs that I really care about on that album are Edging and Dance With Me, the 2 that sound like old Blink.
And I like most of that album, but I really like this one and I like Childhood. It's funny because I think I'm in that, like the last one, the one that they released like 2 days after the fact. I think I'm in that Blink Untitled kind of mode right now, so I'm into that little like softer
weirder
Blink. But I mean I like Dance With Me, I like Edging, I like a lot of the I like that album just quite a bit. But of the anthems, I loved the first anthem when it was on Anima back in the day, and I was like literally in middle school and got the tape, the cassette taken away from me at my school. So I thought Anthem was kind of cool. I thought Anthem 2 was kind of cool, although it was a little bit jumping the shark. I thought that was them trying to make a song that was like a punk rock anthem, because like Good Charlotte had just made the song called Anthem, and that they were doing that. Where I think Anthem 3 is a legitimate, like, again, I am the demographic of the Blink-182 fan, I think very, very specifically. And now that they're making songs about being in like your mid to late 30s and stuff, and about, all these kind of things, it is kind of resonating with me. And so that's why I think all of those anthem songs, with the exception of 2, although I like to, have kind of resonated with me at different points in my life, and sort of have this little bookend of like 20 years of listening to the same band and growing with the same band.
It is weird that we're still listening to Blink and Green Day. Like, and it's not even old material.
No, like they're putting out new albums, and like I'm buying tickets to shows like in major metropolitans here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I bought a ticket to see Green Day and Rancid, so yeah, I fall right in line with that.
That's the next one I'm trying to hack. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of number 5, the last song I believe I have on here from Take Off Your Pants is One Good Reason, which is the final song on Take Off Your Pants.
I know I have at least 1 or 2 songs from that album on my list.
So it's like hate the jocks, the preps, the hippie fucking scumbags, heavy mothers with their awful pussy hairbands, counting seconds until we can get away.
Is it called? Oh yeah, is it called "Give Me One Good Reason"?
Either One Good Reason or Give Me One Good Reason. It's like that. Last song.
Yeah, it's on my list. I'm not gonna tell you where it's on my list, but it's on my list somewhere.
Dude, yeah.
Sounds like Sum 41.
Yeah, it does. It's like so they have the song Anthem on there, but to me, this is like a Blink-182 adolescent pop punk anthem. Like,
agreed.
Again, like this album came out, I was like in the 8th grade going to 9th grade. So these kind of songs sound like cool, like the sort of burn down the school. Every music video has like the high school gymnasium in it, kind of thing. Not till you actually like get to high school and you start like deep thinking and stuff. You don't really care about that stuff as much. You're more into like burning down the White House than you are.
I definitely did. I was like that my whole. I mean, I didn't even. Yeah, bro, I was a fucking idiot. It was fun though.
So and I just love the way that song also, and a lot of Blink songs, what's funny about them is they are sort of like these true romantics, I think, and pretty much every one of their songs is about girls, even if it's not about girls. Like they have that sort of like 50s or almost 80s hair metal thing where everything's like a baby or oh baby kind of thing to them. And even in One Good Reason is kind of a lot of themes on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket are about like meeting a girl and running away with her. Like Rock Show is kind of about that. There's a lot of that sort of theme on these albums. You got to remember, these guys were like young guys who had basically only toured their whole lives. So they never really had like a summer where they weren't recording an album or on the Warped Tour or something like that. So they
never really thought about that.
Want to just kind of get away. And yet they're only like 22 and 23 when these songs are coming out, so it's kind of crazy to think of.
How many bands do we listen to that have never done anything but tour? A lot, like a fair amount.
They have weird. That's why they're into weirdly mundane stuff. Have you noticed? Like in their 40s and 50s, they love like going to like doing very basic stuff because they didn't ever live like a normal life.
Well, like if you look at Lars, like I've seen a lot of footage of him dicking around, and it's always like buying a collectible or he sells stuff online all the time. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, that is something you would do if you were tired of being like out on the road and around people all the time. You'd sit at your house and like list things on your eBay store and have a good time doing that and packing it up and then talking on Instagram and be like, hey, look what I'm, saying, what I'm saying? Like he's doing stuff that you do when you don't have a lot of money, but he's got money. He's just tired of being out, probably out in the public eye, I would imagine.
Yeah. And doing that. So like I saw the guys from New Found Glory said they lost all their friends when they got back from their first tour because their body clocks were just different than every one of their friends. Cause they were asleep all day long. And then they would really want to be awake at like 8 o'clock you know what I mean? Until like 5 in the morning.
Yeah. That would be weird.
They weren't like crackheads. They were just on that weird body clock, that no one else. And again, when you're 19, who else just understands that when your buddy's working at like Circle K or something, and you're doing that? Like, it's just, it's punk rock. Like, cause you don't become rich necessarily overnight in punk rock the way you would in other genres of music.
Right.
Now suddenly you're just hanging in the MTV crowd. Like, you're still like a regular dude in a lot of these bands. And they say like your fame's kind of like a lagging thing. Like Green Day didn't know they were famous till like a year after Dookie came out. That's when all the money actually comes in. So everyone knows who you are and stuff and you live this life, but you're like still living at mom's house and stuff. Like it's kind of crazy.
That's what I was going to say is a lot of these bands that people think have a ton of money don't. Like some of them do, but like speaking specifically of like punk rock stuff, a lot of these bands are just regular people, dude. Like I talked to Brad Logan and I was flabbergasted when he was like, yeah, I got a regular job. And I was like, wait, you have a job? And he's like, yeah, oh shit. It never occurred to me that he would have a job. Mm-hmm. But of course he does. Like, what else is he going to do with his time? Like, you know what I'm saying? He can't just be on tour all the time. It's just such an unsustainable way to try to live. Like, it just doesn't.
Well, think about it. Like,
unless you're very wealthy and you can live in a bus all the time, it's got a nice big bed and stuff.
Well, it's hard because the guys who can do it, like Fat Mike, Fat Mike's primary employment, I think, is Fat Records, not necessarily even the music he's made from No Effects.
I would agree.
There's kind of two jobs there. Like Mike Herrera does all his stuff, but the other two guys in MXPX also work at the shipyard in Seattle.
Oh, really?
Gives them special days off to tour. Like, you know what I mean? And that's
wild.
How and again, signed to major, like not these rock and roll tragedy kind of guys either. It's just how the numbers work. It's how the economics of it all really shake down. But with punk rock, what makes it so great is even when you scale punk rock down, it's so sustainable because all you really need is guitars, amps, and microphones. Is you can see like both of us have different tour stops to go see like the Adolescents and the Circle Jerks and Descendants here in a couple months at very, intimate venues. But you could also see those bands, opening for like a Blink-182 on one of these big shows.
Right.
And so that's just kind of the life you live, I think, at that level of musician. Punk rock is a weird level of fame.
I'm so excited, dude. I get to go hang out with Brad Logan at the show. I can't wait.
Your punk credentials will be fully
right.
Get your snap.
Dude, let's stamp that passport. All right, let's continue. Sorry, bro. I'm just excited because I love that dude's music, man. He's so great.
And now for the last song on Enema, which
wait, what number are we at?
Number 4 now.
Okay, so you have 3 more after this?
Yeah, I have 4 more. I have 4 more because I can't count, but this is my
okay. So no more off of Enema, and you still have 4 songs. Okay, cool. Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
Okay, so off of Enema again, backside song, Wendy Clear. The song, it's a song about Mark's relationship with some executive at the record label that he couldn't be in a relationship with. So wow. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. I play with fire to crack the ice, but I play with a nuclear device. This is something
what's cool? What's cool about us talking about this stuff is that you are describing songs that I'm going to talk about, and we both had completely different things to say about them. Like I didn't go into the lyrics on a lot of them, whereas you are. Mm-hmm. But when you hear my list in a minute, you're going to hear me talk about like production, different keyboard stuff that they did, drum patterns. Like I talk about that stuff. I think that's really cool, man. I'm glad that we have this very large similarity and then slightly different.
Lyrics, I think, are kind of my thing in general that I analyze in songs, but specifically for Blink-182 because like they're my ultimate like mixtape song, like because they were the band that was on when I was in middle school. You know what I mean? So all these lyrics are kind of like they've been sent on mixtapes to people and that stuff like that. So a lot of these songs are sort of like personal in that kind of, and not in the deep kind of way that like a lot of like some of the Rancid stuff might be personal or that spiritual kind of way, more of like a, hey, that was a relatable situation kind of. It's pop music and that's what pop music does, and it has that.
That song is on my list. It's not in my top 10, but I will bring it up and I'll explain why whenever it gets to be my point. I just wanted to just wanted to notate that I do like that song a lot.
So again, so a song I would say that's very much in the vein of Forbidden Fruit is kind of the theme of it. Now at number 3, and now we're on 1.2 albums, I would say right now left. I'll explain in a second. So number 3,
Dude Ranch and probably Cheshire.
No.
Take Off Your Pants.
No, you won't get it.
Okay.
Okay. So at number 3 we have Lemons.
Good Morning. The best Blink album. No, yes, playing.
Right after Linoleum.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had Lemmings, which is the song that towards the end of Dude Ranch, like the second or third last song, my to delve in your self-inflicted hate. I can't do the whole thing. Stop blaming life on someone else.
I still have my CD.
It's a song about like the friend group kind of moving on, and I think it's a song about like everyone wanting to still hang out and it's kind of like what we were talking about, do their thing, where Blink was sort of growing up when he talks about like places we used to skate, the bands we used to hate. I wonder if I'll ever have friends like that again. It's just one of those songs that kind of always hits you of like time and moving on in your life. And it's one of those very specific tones that pop punk hits really well. It's that sort of passage of time. I think pop punk is really good at getting in that part of the fills. Yeah.
I miss this stuff, dude.
I miss that sleeve specifically, the Dude Ranch CD.
Bro,
taking the bath. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt again.
Going round and round. Yeah, that's where I fell in love with songs like Lemmings, like songs like A New Hope, like songs like Emo, like songs that didn't make my list that I love from that album.
This is exactly why we have different, not we as in me and you against each other, but different opinions than other people, especially people that are, let's say, 10 years younger than us, because we did literally do this, and a lot of those people didn't. Some of them did. A lot of them didn't. But I had tapes that I had to sit down and read that shit. It was tiny, bro. And I'm reading the inside of my tape thing and like
Tim Armstrong's squiggly ass writing that's on those Out Come the Wolves things.
Dude, no, legit. I was in my 30s before I realized most of what he was saying because I couldn't read his handwriting anymore. And I could understand what he was saying.
Thank you, Genius Lyrics. Yes. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
But that is a piece of engagement, though, because these songs on Dude Ranch, I know almost every lyric to every song on Dude Ranch because I would sit there in my room and it's going in that circle like it is out there because you're going with it and you're absorbing it and you're putting your own shit on it. Speaking of, at 2.5, I have Damn It, which is sort of the quintessential, I think, pop punk Blink-182 song. Excellent song. Not a lot needs to be said about it, but I will say that.
Wait till you hear what I say about it. It's going to be funny because it's almost the same thing.
I always love that a band that came from punk rock was also the first band that me and my friends in the 5th grade said, look, this band says the F word on the radio. And it was a punk rock band. Like it wasn't Metallica. It wasn't Limp Bizkit. It wasn't Korn.
Yeah.
It was a punk rock band that said the F word on the radio. And so that was my introduction to Blink-182 is, we would make each other little rips from the radio. Like we'd record on the cassette, you know what I mean? And we'd be like, okay, here's the new
radio mixtapes. Yeah, those were hard to make.
And you get them. And I remember this is the song with the F word was like number 7 or whatever that my friend, we were so happy to like hear that was the case. It's a great song on top of just its profanity, by the way.
Right. So one thing I want to say real quick has nothing to do with Blink. You're talking about the lyrics and laying on the floor. So when I was at that Green Day thing, these bands are very closely related. So if you talk about Green Day in a Blink video, it's not going to upset people. I don't think. I would hope not.
No.
I think the thing that they did that I appreciated the most. You didn't watch my video, right?
No, because I don't want to get.
That's what I thought. No, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was not expecting you to. If you just said yes, I'd have been a little more surprised. So one thing that they did, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, simply for your benefit here, but they gave these books out, and this is a lyric book, and everything about the whole album is in here. You want one of these, bro? I got an extra one for you. Yeah, I got you this and a poster. I got you, bro. Yeah, dude. You said you couldn't go. I got you a poster and a button. I'll send it out to you next month when I send out the painting for your birthday.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. Let's hear it for fucking friendship, dude.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited.
No, seriously, bro. You know I got you, man. No, I seriously was like, let me grab a third for Rob. So all I really meant is that during that listening party, I was able to go back in time and enjoy that album like I would have in high school, because they had the foresight to send this out and say, hey guys, we want you to know what we're saying. I was the only person in the whole place doing it
that was reading your music. You're reading your music. Yeah.
Now I was also taking notes, so I didn't get to, but I was holding my phone like in my left hand because I could type left-handed, and I was holding the booklet in my right hand like a freaking comic book, and I'm like typing and reading and setting my phone down on the counter and trying to flip to the next page. Like I was doing my damnedest to read every lyric. So no, I didn't get to every single one, but this made me appreciate that whole album more. I look forward to listening to it a little bit more this weekend. Anyways, let's continue with some Blink-182. I just wanted to say, like, dude, I think that's rad they did that. And I wish Blink would have done something like that with their newest albums. I might appreciate it a little bit more, because I can tell you that the Green Day album isn't any better, but I appreciate it more already because I got to go into it immediately with the lyrics.
That immersive experience.
Yeah.
So 2 songs left.
Let's go.
So at number 2, I have from Dude Ranch, Apple Shampoo. I absolutely love this song. If it wasn't for the song that is number 1, it would be the number 1 song. Was the first single off of Dude Ranch. No one remembers it because, damn it, became such a bigger song. And then Josie became a really big song after that. It's a song that's a true story. Mark tells just a lot of very not obvious stories, but like you tend to know like the girlfriend he's talking about and stuff. It was some bass player for some other band, and that's why he said they're both getting tired of punk rock clubs, both playing in punk rock bands.
Okay, that song. Okay, I was trying to remember what song.
Some good things must end. Yeah, but it's really the end.
That's a good song.
It's the lyrics at the end where he says where he's the back a background shot from a movie. He makes the whole film reference of how he'll just keep moving on because he doesn't hate the girl. It's more just about the passage of time and where their lives are taking them, which is a theme again in a lot of this Blink stuff, because it's young people who are suddenly rich or suddenly have a level of fame that's just hard for other young people to.
I can't imagine. I can't even imagine. Like, I don't know that I would want to be like that.
Look, I mean, that's what Ruby Soho is about, essentially, right? It's that same sort of subject matter of like,
I never really thought about it, to be honest.
I got to go on tour. It's like I got to go on tour, and now.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't listen to stuff the same way people do, man. I don't always understand songs until I am told, hey, listen to this like this. And then I go, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's just like listening to the Alkaline Trio song. It's about the Manson murders. I just never thought about it. It never Sadie. Yeah. Sadie. It just never occurred to me because I just wasn't looking for that with the song. And I don't sit down with the lyrics like I used to, which I should do. Sorry.
Okay, and at number 1, the song. The reason why you weren't gonna guess that, because it's not technically an album release, although it is officially a release. It is "Man Overboard," which was released as part of the Mark, Tom, and Travis show. So you have the live album, and you have the one new song that was released. That was released as
that's your favorite Blink-182 song
by a mile.
Really? I don't think I've ever heard that song.
You're missing out. Then
should we listen to it?
Listen to it
right now.
Go ahead.
What's it called? Man Overboard? Is that where
Man
the band
Overboard.
got their name from?
Yes, the band Man Overboard got their reference their name from that. Yeah,
that's
so
pretty cool.
You know what Mark Tom and Travis show was, right? You were aware of that?
So it's a live album, isn't it?
So it's a live album that came. It's called Enema. It's just basically off the big boom of Enema the State. The next year for Christmas, they have that plus this song. It was a vehicle to release this single basically, and it's a live album.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I'll listen after the show. I don't want to get demonetized over
the
song.
So from a story, we talk about the stories of the song. For years, I didn't know what this song was about. It was just a cool song that was I just thought a very awesome song, and it's kind of, I would say it's peak Blink-182.
Dude, I don't think I've ever heard this song before. I might have to reevaluate.
So sorry, it's over. There's so much more that I wanted done. There's so much more that I needed.
Oh yeah, I have heard a song. I don't care for it.
All right.
I need to listen to it again. It's been a long time, but yeah, I do know.
So the song,
was it on the radio?
Yeah, it was a big hit. Like
that's how I heard it then.
TRL hit and all, like it went through the whole treatment, the whole Blink treatment, in that era. People think it's like an Enema song, I think, because that's
probably what I thought.
In that same time frame.
Interesting.
The song of the video is funny because they were already so big that they were parodying themselves. They actually make fun of the All the Small Things video in the Man Overboard video. Like that's
pretty funny.
That's how but the song itself is actually about Scott Rayner, their initial drummer.
Oh, really?
So for years, I remember I had a Blink-182 book back in the day. Speaking of book, it was kind of like a book that's written for like teenagers, I think. And it talked about how like their initial drummer had to go off to college, so he couldn't be with them. And now they got the drummer from the Aquabats, Travis Barker.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, so the drummer went off to college, no big deal. Well, it turned out the drummer was a strange alcoholic and had all these other problems. And that's what the song Man Overboard is all about.
Wow.
But the official members never really speak on it. So it's nothing but innuendo. So there's a lot of innuendo in the song, like tight lip procrastination. I'll see you around, insider information. Like there's a lot of little like cryptic references even within the song.
Interesting.
It's just one of those things. So Scott Rayner is an interesting character because everyone says like, okay, Blink got good when he left. Well, kind of, but Dude Ranch was also made
Dude
while
Ranch
he was
is
around.
so good.
I agree that Travis took him to like a whole nother level that made him one of the biggest pop acts in the world. Yes, that was because of very much Travis and Jerry Finn. It was both of those two guys that really helped sculpt that sound. But it's not like Scott was terrible. It's not like they didn't write those songs that were on Dude Ranch when Scott was around. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he wasn't just dead weight. He's kind of like a who's the initial Rancid drummer?
Wow, Brett Reed.
Kind of that Brett Reed role.
I almost got my card taken, bro. My goodness.
You might think of it as Brett Reed is kind of Scott Rayner, where Travis Barker is more like Brandon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a really, really good comparison, actually.
Now the difference is Rancid kind of already had their Hall of Fame career, and then Brandon gets there to sort of steward like the second half of their career, where Blink gets Travis, and now they are Hall of Famers. Now they are, because I think that is a huge ingredient we can't undo. Why is Enema the perfect album and all this? Is because it's got Travis. Like Travis creates so much of a wall of sound for a trio, for a punk rock pop punk trio that just changed the band.
Drummers are very important, and even on the latest Rancid album, I consistently referred to, man, listen to the drums on this, and I just kept saying it over and over because it's so and good, bro. It's just so good.
It's Brandon's album, like we talked about before. That one's kind of feels like it's Brandon's album. But yeah, so there's like my 14 Blink songs, which is supposed to be a 10, but that's kind of how these lists go.
I'm about to double you up, sir. So
pretty good subsection, though, I would say, of like what I like in Blink or what I'm really feeling in Blink. It's that. Do this list in 6 months, it'll probably be totally different.
Isn't that weird how that happens? But it is. I mean, that is what it is, dude. It happens. We change a little bit.
Thank God the internet is infinite, and we could literally do one of these in 6 months if we wanted to.
We probably will. Okay, so I've got 30 songs here. I'm going to rush through 20 of them real quick. But so, okay, at number 30, I put See You, a super deep cut. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is off their new album, actually. It's a super deep cut off of One More Time. I just like it. Not really sure why. It doesn't really stand out or blow my hair back. I just like the lyrics. It sounds kind of like the Cars, that old 80s pop rock band. Too bad this album was so poorly produced. It really could have been a banger of a record. It's not bad per se, but the production is just bad. The songwriting is decent. The lyrics are solid. Production is just too polished for me. I did this really late at night, so if I say some weird shit, my apologies.
That song, let me comment real quick. That song, my criticism of it is that it sounds like the Taco Bell commercial.
Well, you probably ruined it for me now.
It does. It's a good song, but listen to the Taco Bell commercial, or before the Green Day song was the Taco Bell commercial. It's got like that same vibe. Like I think they sampled the Taco Bell commercial in the song.
You know what? It wouldn't even surprise me. Okay, I got a couple of songs off the new album on here, but they're way up here at the top, where third up in the last 5 songs. But number 29 is Dysentery Gary.
Yeah.
A fantastic deep cut off of Enema of the State. I love the breakdown, the part of the song, and then the chorus comes in. It's just infectious, man. When Mark sings, it was a perfect switch from Tom to Mark, and I thought it just was so perfect. It just really, I love that song. But I mean, dude, 30 songs sounds like a long list, but I'm telling you, I could listen to these 30 songs pretty much on repeat, and I wouldn't get boring for quite some time.
That song reeks of middle school angst, doesn't it?
Yes. He's
a player diarrhea giver trying to grow his hair out with this player.
Dude, I mean, sometimes you have to. Yes, very much so. I love it, dude. It's so good. Number 28 is also off of One More Time. It's Cut Me Off. It's an 80s synth pop deep cut. It's an interesting B-side. It sounds more like modern pop punk and emo. Clearly a Travis Barker produced song. It sounds like a song Kenny Hoopla would have had on his record, to be honest, but there's a cowbell in this song, and for that reason, I love it.
More of it. More cowbell.
More cowbell. But yeah, that song sounds specifically to me like a Kenny Hoopla track. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but I really like his music.
I work with Travis, actually. He did that whole album.
Yeah, I saw him live, and he was insane live, dude. He did like 10 backflips, dude. Like legit. Like he's amazing live.
Is that music good live? Like, is there a band with him? Like,
it's a whole band, bro. It's so good.
Yeah. I've just been. He came a couple months ago, and I was like, I didn't know if I was really going to be into that sort of like.
Man, I went and I was blown away by how much fun I had. He is so good live. His crowd interaction is top notch, bro. You can tell that he's learned from pros. Like it's really clear that he's been taught by Travis Barker and those guys how to act on stage, and he's probably been to millions of shows, so he knows what he's into. But Kenny Hoopla is great, man. Shout out to Kenny Hoopla. Number 27. I don't even remember what album this is on, but it's one of the ones you don't like. It's Sober. And I put, this song is just so good. I love Skiba and what he added to this band. The lyrics in the song are really great, but I relate to it in ways that I wish I didn't. But for that reason, like that song is a personal one. Like I hear it and I go, yeah, let me go get a cup of coffee, I guess. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just hits me in the feels, dude. I really enjoy that song quite a bit. Which album is that on? I don't care.
It's on California. I think, or maybe 9. I don't know.
It's on one of those 2 albums. Yeah. It's a Skiba track. But anytime I talk about a song on here that Skiba was on, most of the reason why I like it so much is because of what he did to it. Is so like it's very evident where my allegiances lie. I'm a big Alkaline Trio fan. Like it is what it is. It's not to diss anybody. I'm glad Skiba did this. It makes my Blink-182 experience a little more fun personally. So number 26 is also one you had on your list. It's Give Me One Good Reason off of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. I don't want to like this song, but it's catchy as fuck. It sounds kind of like Sum 41 mixed with Blink, so I do like this song. That's what I wrote. Hold on one second.
Sounds like a song that you could write.
2 creamers and a heaping spoonful of Sweet and Low, and then just the large cup.
Okay.
Leave it in there. It's fine. 2
tablespoons or just 2?
No, 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell her to get mine. I got mine right here.
Right, dude. I'm lucky. I got a sweet wife that helped me out and get my coffee while we're doing this. Okay, so number 25 is a deep cut off Dude Ranch. It's Dick Lips. It's such a I hate the name of that song, but I love it at the same time.
That album isn't as irreverent as the titles and the artwork is. That album's like very serious and deep, but there's still like that Blink-182 snot all around it. It's funny.
Yeah, but it's a little. I even put on there a little less silly, but it's a great song.
Yeah, all those songs about him getting kicked out of the basketball game in high school where he was drunk, and so he had to move. That's how he met Mark, is because he got kicked out of the town he was in.
That's awesome.
Because again, he was the prom king, so they are the cool kids, like you were saying, but they're still punk rockers in that he was too drunk and got kicked out of the thing.
Man, I would venture to say that based on the fact that he was a prom king, he is automatically disqualified from being called a punk rocker. But
him and Matt Skiba then. So they're both in that. They both have that distinction.
Matt Skiba's an emo guy, so you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Always trying to copy each other.
I know, right? Shout out to Gabe Wells from Houston. I believe he was prom king, and he was part of Pride Kills and Piss Test. So maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong about that one, actually. Yeah, shut up. Sorry,
prom kings.
Dude, that's a terrible band name, but it would work. All right, number 4 is a song you also had on your list. It's Windy Clear. Yeah. Maybe the best deep cut off of Enema of the State. It's a really good song. I like the addition of a keyboard or synth, whatever it is in that song. It's in the background. And it's got a great bass line and vocal part that's got a simple harmony to it that I really appreciated.
Yeah, it's just like the Beato stuff. It's really like old timey rock, almost like a Beatles type of thing.
Right? Yeah, they started adding that stuff as they got a little older. Number 23 is off their new album. It's Edging. I had to have the song somewhere. It didn't fit until I got to this point in the list, but it does fit on the list somewhere. When this one dropped, I was really hopeful for One More Time. Unfortunately, that album left a lot to be desired for me personally. Still had a few really great songs though, and so I'll take them. That's what I wrote as my notes on this song. But Edging is just a classic Blink song in my opinion.
Could have come out in 2023, 2003, 97.
I agree.
And it's awesome. Yeah.
Number 22 is let's see. Oh, it's Untitled from Dude Ranch, and I put it's a glimpse of things to come. A melodic song with a smaller budget. With this one, you can hear where the band will eventually go with albums later in their career. I prefer this version of them, of course, but you can hear it still in later songs. It's just more polished than it is in this offering. I like the rawness of this album so much.
Dude Ranch, we need to just do a full scale episode on Dude Ranch, you and I.
I'm so down for that because I love that record so much.
I feel like it does get not underrated because people know what it is, but because it's not Enema and it
does get left behind. It really does.
These songs, like everyone knows. Damn it, everyone knows.
Right,
Josie.
Right.
It's Waggy, it's emo, it's Untitled, it's Lemmings, it's Apple Shampoo.
Right.
That kind of need to be like highlighted through middle-aged podcasters.
Let's see. Okay. Number 21 is off of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. It is Shut Up. I wrote the Adams song from this album. It makes great use of strategically placed curse words, and it's a pretty dark song.
Mm-hmm.
That's my notes.
Who doesn't have a wife or girlfriend that didn't tell you to turn down the damn music and you just turned it way up? That's a response.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I literally would do that. I'm a giant child.
Fucking deaf. She said it's too loud.
Yes.
That's good middle finger song.
That's my daughter though. She's always like, "It's too loud." I'm like, "Calm down. You're never going to be a good punk rocker if everything's too loud."
Now the kids are saying stuff is too loud. I mean, come on.
I know. I feel like crying sometimes about that stuff. Maybe I do fit in with the older Blink-182 material.
We are doomed.
Number 20 is off of the same album. It's The Rock Show, and I put I don't like this album, but this song is great, and it mentions the Warped Tour. That's cool.
I had a girlfriend. I met her at the Rock Show the year before I went to Warped Tour. So
that's
I was
awesome.
But I wish I could have synced it up. You know what I mean? It would have been much cooler if I'd met her a year later.
Yeah, that's pretty close though, man. I definitely didn't.
But I was still dating her when I was going to the Warped Tour, so
I met a lot of girls at the Warped Tour that I tried to make my girlfriend, and none of them worked out.
True, that's true.
They were all like, "Fuck you, nerd."
There was a few times there was like the planned Warped Tour thing, like you're going to go to the Warped Tour and I'm going to be at the Warped Tour and we're both going to be there, and those didn't quite materialize the way.
I had, because I'm a very, I go out and I talk, and so I met people there, and back in the 98, 99, 2000, that was before skinny jeans existed, and so I heard audibly more than one time, "Fuck you, what's up with those tight ass pants?" Because we made our own skinny jeans back then, and mine had like a couple of patches. They weren't anything like crust pants are, but they were close, But they were black Levi jeans that we turned inside out, safety pinned them all the way up, cut them off, sewed them up. So on the interior of your leg, it wasn't a straight seam either. It was all like, because I sewed it by hand, so it just was, I was 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
It was awful. But yeah, lots of fun.
And we should clarify. We were age appropriately looking for women at the Warped Tour. Those scene guys in the late 2010s, they were still looking for that age of girl, and they were like in the bands.
Even back then, man, I remember like creepy dudes creeping out girls, bro. It was wild, man. Not band members, just dudes at the Warped Tour, like 30-year-old men hanging out by the Red Bull tent trying to hit on some young girls thirsty. Like, dude, leave her alone, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah. Now we all go to when we were young, and we're just old and we can't afford to hit on the girls that we.
Bro, here's where we start to get everybody hating me. Probably.
Oh, good.
Number 19 is "Bored to Death."
It's a good song.
I put California is a massively underrated record in my opinion, and this song rules. But obviously, I'm just a Matt Skiba simp, so yeah, that's what my notes say. Oops.
First step is admitting you have a problem. So okay.
Facts, dude. Number 18 is the opener off of Dude Ranch. Pathetic. This one set the tone for a ton of people discovering this band, so they had to bring it, and it was brought. It's a straight bringer. It's a straight. It's a straight banger. Excuse me.
Can't you just hear like skateboarding when you hear that song? Do 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 do.
Bro,
God.
That. So number 18 and number 17 go hand in hand. Number 18 is like when I first put Dude Ranch on, I was like, oh, okay, I'll like this band. I like Blink-182 because of that song. If it had been any other song that was a little slower, not as angsty, I wouldn't feel the same way. But I put it in, and it was like really fast right off the bat. I can listen to this. That's, I was young, dude. We were insecure and made really weird decisions based on stupid shit that didn't matter.
Yep.
But because number 17 is Voyeur. It's the second track on Dude Ranch. Admittedly cringy lyrics, but it's really catchy. It's got awesome hand claps, and it reminds me of my younger days being a kid. It's just it's got really dated bad lyrics at this point, but
I still laugh at them every time.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Is when I was a kid, I loved the lyrics, and I still to this day giggle when I hear it. So it is what it is, man.
It's Tom's juvenile voice really makes that song like come together though with the subject matter.
Yes. Oh, dude, his voice used to be so bad, and I love it.
Like it works, so it fits the songs. Like he couldn't have been in like a good singing band. You know what I mean? Like he had to be singing about peeping into girls' rooms. Like that voice had to be singing about those kind of things.
Yeah. Dude, that album is so good. I'm just thinking about that record, how good it is. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. Chew a piece of gum. Number 16 is off of One More Time, actually. It's Fell in Love. I'm happily married, so I like this song. Great lyrics.
Do you remember the time?
Yeah, dude, that song is great emo type song.
Good rhyming that Tom does in that song too, throughout the verses, like the way he's able to throw it in.
Agreed. Number 15. Yeah, usually I'm the one that's talking my ass off with these songs. I'm going through this pretty quick. Number 15 is What's My Age Again? I don't care if it's been played a million times. It's still so fucking good. It's got silly lyrics. It talks about sodomy, great melodies, simple and effective.
It's also strangely outdated because there's no such thing as payphones anymore. So,
oh yeah.
So the song just wouldn't exist in the modern era.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 14 is probably going to piss some people off, but I noticed it was missing on your list too, so I'm okay with it. Number 14 is Adam's Song.
Okay. Great song.
Probably, I put probably not high enough on my list for a lot of people, but I can only do heavy songs occasionally. I'm not really that kind of guy. This one's way better than it has any business being. I've cried listening to the song a couple of times. It's got very, very good lyrics, but it's also very, very hard to listen to. But it does need to exist, and it is absolutely a glimpse into the future of Blink-182 and where they were headed.
Mm-hmm. And I think the three meanings that I talk about meanings sometimes. The song is about being on the Warped Tour, and it's about being like 95 Warped Tour and just being worn out. Like tour's over, we survived. Obviously, though, it's like how Fade to Black by Metallica is about their gear getting stolen, but you write it as a suicide note, as a suicide song off of that sad incident, and then it takes on all these other meanings from beyond that, from this kind of sort of more innocent juvenile thing of like just wanting to get off the Warped Tour. But it's those feelings and emotions you have when you're a kid. We learn those for a reason because they get to be applied to other parts of your life. And a song like Adam's Song means like a totally different thing, I think, nowadays than just being worn out from being on the Warped Tour.
I mean, we're up in the top 15, bro. We're in the meat and potatoes of all this, dude. Any of these top 15 songs could have been in the top 10. Number 13 is Dance With Me. And my notes say, didn't think the boys still had it in them. Then they dropped this jam off One More Time last year, complete with a Ramones music video homage. Thank you, sweetheart. This is one super Ramones worship song, but with better drums because, well, Travis Barker is ridiculous.
Well, and like, so all the small things, that was their thesis with all the small things. They wanted, that was the last song added to Enema because they wanted a Ramones song. And that was all.
Oh, really?
Things. And I think so.
That does sound very Ramones. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Dance With Me is like, let's just do it. And now they just went blatant with it because like, I love the video because I love the original video. The original video of the Ramones interview. Like, I know that video and how dumb that interviewer looked in there. So they're spoofing her, and then they're spoofing they're spoofing all these different Ramones. Like, it's like tribute to like someone who loves the Ramones, and I know Blink-182 loves the Ramones. I love them sort of connecting the dots for that 17-year-old kid of like, oh, Blink-182 is a modern day version of what the Ramones were doing in the 70s, and here it is. Here's exactly how it gets laid out, and it's like such a perfect thing for me.
It's really cool because you can go look at both videos. I mean, that's something a kid can do right now, and I think that's important, and I think that needs to happen. I saw people calling it lazy when it came out, and I was so mad because I was like, dude, first off, that's anything but lazy. That's a lot of work. Second, it brings attention to a song and video or whatever that needs to be preserved, I guess is the right word. Something that needs to have attention brought to it. And I don't know, a band of that size is the one that has to do that. They're the ones given that task. And some bands don't recognize that they were given that task, and some do. And Blink-182 saw it, and I thought that the costumes were great too. They were funny.
Let's say real quick with Blink, they are very conscious of their position in popular music and and that they have the responsibility of punk rock. They talk about that all the time. Whether or not you think they're punk rock, they are gonna make it a point to mention Dag Nasty and the Aquabats and the Descendants and Jawbreaker in every interview they ever do, because they always say we take it very seriously where we came from, and we take that. They said that in the Zane Lowe interview in 2023 when they're headlining the big festivals, and they have to always bring up where we came from, and like that, it's an important thing to them. Like, I don't think it's about credibility. I think it's about them preserving.
I don't. They have no reason to care about credibility since they eclipsed that already. They don't have to worry about. They never were
worried about it. They didn't have to go through like what Green Day went through either. Like where they have to
they went through the shit, didn't they?
Yeah, like Blink doesn't have to be as defensive about it. Green Day did it for them. Green Day already went through it. Blink was just a cute band that, like Pennywise and them, they knew those guys were going to be the pop stars. So nobody cared since the beginning because they kind of had different fans to start with. So there was never like a beef between all the sides. The way I think the other ones kind of got talked about a little bit differently.
It's all those bands. Green Day? They went through so much crap, man. It's weird to hear people get so upset by things that we say in our videos, because a lot of them that get upset, they don't have any idea what they're talking about, dude. It's so obvious to me that these people are like, they're either a stan for one of the bands, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. But it's like, man, if you're a stan for this band, why don't you know some of the stuff that happened in their infancy? Like, why do you not know how Green Day was treated at Gilman? And how are you going to say Green Day is not a punk rock band when punk rock is more so about somebody's lifestyle, ethics, and the way that they behave themselves more so than the speed of a song? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. But it's an argument that's always been there, though. And Blink. That's why I think if you ask me which of the two is a punk rock band, I'm going to go Green Day every time. Because of that stuff. Blink doesn't have those songs. They don't have anything political in their music. And I don't want them to. I don't want them to change. I don't want them to do any of that stuff because I need a band that is just going to entertain me sometimes.
We need the Beach Boys. We need that. We need that in our lives.
And so, yeah. But anyways, I was just surprised they still had it, man. I was happy. Number 12 is off of 9. It's Pin the Grenade.
Not bad.
It's 9's versions of an 80s pop rock bop. I love this song so much. I can hear Dance With Me a little bit in songs like this one. If you go back and listen to Pin the Grenade, you can hear Dance With Me. It's so very clear. It's weird, actually. When I heard it, I was like, what? And I went back and listened to both songs and was like, oh, I see what you did here, fellas. But I was pretty careful with the songs I pulled off the Skiba stuff. And I went with stuff that was really effective to me, that like actually meant something to me, and not just trying to be some guy that's like a contrarian. Like I want to have no like bullshit reasons why I liked anything. Okay, now number 11, it was really hard to not put on my top 10. So this is where we start my top 11 essentially.
Your list,
yeah. This is my list. My list. What?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 11 is "Blame It on My Youth." I put this song is a legit classic in my opinion. I love the chorus. I listen to this song quite a bit. 9 gets a bad rap from Blink stands. Meanwhile, Alkaline Trio stands like me love what Matt brought to this band. LOL, to each their own, I guess.
So it's funny that you've never heard "Man Overboard" because "Man Overboard" is the song sampled at the beginning of "Blame It on My Youth."
That's funny. I probably have heard "Man Overboard" if it was on the radio, because I was at Hot Topic around that time a lot, like working there, and all the radio songs that were pop punk and stuff ended up on our little playlist that we had. Man, that place was fun. At the same time, it was the worst shit ever.
That's a cool song though. "Blame It on My Youth" is a cool, like,
it's a good song.
The thing about that Skiba era is there's a lot of songs about like reliving like the past, and like that sort of like every song is kind of about that. And I think that they did a little bit too much of that, but that one that's
really what I like. That's the stuff I enjoy. Like that's what I liked about it. So that's just where we start to separate with our likeness, the things we enjoy. But our top 10 is going to get heavy, man. Number 10 is "Ghost on the Dance Floor." Usually not my type of song, but this one caught me completely off guard, and the chorus is absolutely amazing. And I think that the Killers were supposed to get writing credits on this one, but no, I'm kidding. But like, it sounds so much like the Killers. But it's such a dude. It was that one and "Blame It on My Youth" just kept flip flopping, and I was like, okay, what one do I listen to more? And it's "Ghost on the Dance Floor." I love that song. The later Blink stuff, I think the reason why I like it has little to do with Matt Skiba on the surface. Of course it does when you get below the surface. Of course it does. But when that stuff came out, I never heard any of it, dude. I wasn't around the radio. I didn't listen to it. I didn't even know 9 came out. When I discovered 9, I had no idea California existed. I had no idea. And so the way I discovered that album, dude, you're going to laugh, bro. So I was at my comic book shop, and I was starting to carry vinyl. And I had this whole wall where I had put up records that you could come in and listen to. And somebody goes, "Hey, are you going to carry the new Blink album?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Blink?" And they were like, "Yeah." And it was a kid. And he goes, "Yeah, they got this new guy in the band." And I was like, "Huh." And I had no idea what was going on. And I never thought to like Google it. So I just ordered the record. And when I said they have a new guy in the band, I thought they meant they added a fourth. No, I thought they meant they added a fourth member.
You didn't know it was Matt. Yeah.
I had no idea it was Matt Skiba. So when I heard the record, I literally was confused. I was like, damn, how many times is Matt Skiba going to be featured on this record? And like, bro, dude, I was so confused. And then I'm like looking at it, I'm like, oh my goodness. And then, like, the kid never came back in the store for like months. He was like a high school kid. And he comes back in one day, and I'm like, "Hey man, why didn't you tell me it was Matt Skiba in Blink?" And he goes, "Who's Matt Skiba?" And I was like, "Fuck, bro." But it really blew my mind. And I was like, wait. And so I had to like figure out that he was like, oh, because I didn't even know they broke up, bro. I was not in popular music at all. I didn't care. It didn't matter to me. I was so deep into like trying to stay sober. I was starting my businesses. I wasn't listening to a lot of music. I basically listened to Rancid and probably like maybe a little NoFX and Pennywise, but that was pretty much it for a few years. And then local stuff, because I was just so consumed with trying to get my life together. I just wasn't aware of what was going on with popular music, and I never was that much interested in it anyways, right? So, but yeah, it was funny how I figured all that out. I was like, well, this is weird. Like, I felt stupid. Like, I was like, man, Matt Skiba, and I had no idea. Like, literally, like on my CD rack, Alkaline Trio albums, and I'm going, dude, as a matter of fact, at that comic book shop, I had first press Alkaline Trio records on the wall with like humongous price tags on them, right next to Blink 182 9, and had no idea that I did that connection on accident. Someone
probably thought that looked very intentional, right? Like, hey, like look at that marketing right there.
Certain of it, dude. And I just never. Sometimes I just live in my own world, man.
You've told so many wild stories on this show. That might be the best one you've ever told.
Dude, I've had some wild things happen to me. Oh, dude. No, I felt really stupid. Like when that happened and I realized it, I don't admit that often. I felt retarded. I was like, like, how do you not know when something like that happens? And like, look, at that point, I would say even at like now, like Blink-182 is very far removed from what I listen to. I listen to stuff like this far quicker than Blink-182. Right? Yeah. What is this? It's just some punk band that I discovered at a show. Like I bought a tape off a table. Like, so I the older I get, the more curmudgeony I get, bro. So I dig deeper the older I get. So I guess I'm not shocked, but it was really, really shocking to find out it was Matt Skiba is what it was. I was like, what? So I think maybe I had this like weird soft spot because I felt like I owed them more time. So I jumped on it and listened to it a bunch. And so I just really liked it. I was like, oh, this is great, dude. I love Matt Skiba. I had no idea people were pissed, bro. I had no idea. Like I had bro, I had no idea that people hated it, man.
But that's
no clue.
That's what's so hard about it. So like I hate that era too. I have like a negative association because I always had to defend, quote, the new guy, because that was one of my guys, while also acknowledging that I didn't really like.
Crazy is that, bro?
But I didn't really like his songs, but like I had to defend him. You know what I mean? It's been a weird thing. I've always been in, and I don't even think those songs, I don't think it's terrible. It's just like what I like the least about like Alkaline Trio would be like the part he brought to Blink, in my opinion, as well. That's funny.
All.
So like, and you like a lot of that.
Actually makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense.
That era of Alkaline Trio. So that makes sense why you like it. Like I like the song like Parking Lot by that they did with Blink with
Oh
Skiba.
yeah.
And like because that's an Alkaline Trio song though, basically that Blink is kind of doing. That's my least favorite version of Alkaline Trio applied to like my least favorite version of Blink, which is kind of makes those albums.
And that's like my favorite version of all of it. But
I have to defend Matt Skiba, like to me, the Blink guys, they're not in like my mini mafia in my head that I like because they already have like they're millionaires, they're good. But I have to defend. I still have to defend Skiba. To the normies. You know what I mean?
No, dude, that's the homie,
bro. Me out when I was pumping gas, and there was like the Live Nation summer crew, and it was like Matt Skiba and Mark Hoppus just came on my screen, and I'm pumping gas, and the guy that's saying "Stupid Kid" is on my screen at the gas station. What the hell?
That is so weird, bro. That is so strange to me. Yeah, that would blow me away too. Okay, so what are we on? Number 8?
Crack.
I know, right? Wait. No, we're on number 9.
We got done with
number 9. Yeah. Wait. Oh my goodness, dude, you're gonna be so tired of this in a minute. Number 9, the only thing that matters.
Oh, okay.
It's a deep cut off California, but it's really fast. It feels like old Blink featuring Matt Skiba. I would love to hear Blink with Mark, Tom, and Skiba. That would genuinely make me happy, is what I wrote. That's if I could get anything, I would want to have an album that they go sit and write together, all 4 of those dudes, and write just the perfect amalgamation of the 4 minds that create 2 bands I love so much. Because I also think that it gets separated when I don't. The only reason I get defensive about it is because I feel obligated to defend Matt Skiba, when in reality, I think people should just love it and associate it and be like, "This is cool, man," because it's not often that you get a. You don't. I mean, like Brandon being in Rancid, dude. People don't associate him with the Used because he was the drummer, not a vocalist.
I do.
So it's no. Okay, you might, and I do, but like
that's the area I found it in. Yeah,
yeah. But generally, people are like, "Oh, he's from the Used." You're like, "Yeah, he's a drummer." If he was the vocalist of the Used playing guitar for Rancid, it would be a much bigger deal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
So I think people just need to celebrate it more so than hate on it. But that song is really, really good. It's very fast, and it is in my top 10. Number 8 is Parking Lot.
Mm-hmm.
The song it's the song that reminds me most of my formidable years. I used to spend tons of my time hanging out in parking lots. This one's another throwback to faster Blink-182 songs. But I mean, I like this stuff way better than Angels and Airwaves. Not to talk crap or anything. It's just my personal preference. I don't care for that band. Angels and Airwaves is whack to me.
See, to me, that's what I thought the self-titled album is what Angels and Airwaves actually is. Like that is what I don't like. Like that is like I don't like Angel and Airwaves. I don't like Plus 44. I like Boxcar Racer and I love the Transplants, but I don't like Plus 44 and I don't like Angels and Airwaves.
What's your beef with Plus 44?
I just think it's like lame Blink. It's like Blink that's not as good.
You're not wrong, but I still like it. Okay, that's the right word though. Like it. I don't love it.
Yeah,
it's got like 3 songs that I love, but I almost put one of those songs on his list by the way. Like it was very close, but
like Transplants is different, like enough. And then Angels and Airwaves again, like I don't like that Neighborhoods album because to me that sounds like a bad Angels and Airwaves album. And Angels and Airwaves isn't that great to start with from my perspective, you know.
Dude, we're really getting into like the
core.
Dude, this is like we're top 7 right now, bro. Number 7, all the small things because I can hear it 5 million more times and I'm still going to bob my head. I'm still going to sing along. That song rules and I'll give a fuck. Bro, I love that song, dude. That song's so good, bro. Da-na, da-na, da-na. Bro, how could you not listen to that and be like at your desk, like working at work? You're like having a bad day, like, motherfucker, stupid Bob told me to fucking, oh, this is a great song, dude. Like, that would just totally switch my mood, bro.
But also, you say at the end of the day, work sucks, and another old millennial.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
It goes like, I know, right?
Bro, that's what I'm saying, dude. Song rules, bro. Song rules.
And anyone can play it on the bass. I'm telling you, even I can. And you still sound rules, but it's awesome. And they play chords in it, which is cool because, you know, he played like Fat Mike and Lemmy because Mark Hoppus did that. That's what he does.
So that's ridiculous. Number 6 is oh, buddy. Number 6 is She's Out of Her Mind.
Dude.
It's my favorite Alkaline.
Right? That's that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite Alkaline 82 song.
That's kind of a trio song.
Yeah, I love this song. It's a perfect amalgamation of the two bands, and it's obviously about a girl, so I obviously like it. Like my notes are so dumb. Dude, my notes are like self-deprecating. I'm just like, you're a dork. Like but that song's really great, man. Okay, top 5, bro. Here we go. Man, how do I have a song from California in the top 5, bro? That's so. I didn't even know that, to be honest.
It doesn't shock me yet.
Number 5 is Kings of the Weekend. California Does It Again is what I wrote. Skiba kills it in this song, and this is like the better version of the rock show, in my opinion. This chorus is so fun, and what a melody. Plus Travis's drums, the Paul muted. I put da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na on my notes. Oh, that's what it is. Da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na.
So like the Blink beats, basically.
Yeah, bro. I love this stuff, dude. I'm going to listen to this playlist. Also, this is a playlist on Spotify, dude. It's called the top Blink-182 songs on my thing if you want to check it out. Number 4. Number 4 is one that I was shocked isn't on your list, dude. I was really surprised. And if it was, I thought it wasn't. Josie, was that not on your list?
It was on my top 44 list.
Okay.
That one might
plus 44.
My plus 44. Because you know what? Because I have about 142. I was going to add another 47. I want to have my top 182 Blink-182 songs.
Okay, that's a podcast we got to do when we have like 5 hours.
Yeah, but
I'm super down with that. We got to include everything that they're a part of, though.
Yeah, we got
guest appearances, side projects, all
Lil
of it.
Wayne song, yeah, everything.
Dude, come on, Lil Wayne. I love Lil Wayne.
Josie's a great song. It does suffer a little bit from that fatigue factor as just one of the singles, kind of. So it has a little bit of that for me.
I am very, very fortunate. I have never been since about 1996 or so a radio guy. So there's a lot of songs that people get fatigued from that I don't care about. It doesn't bother me. A lot of Green Day songs I don't get bothered by because I didn't hear them a lot. Like Good Riddance. Yeah, that's a really good example because I love that song still. But I wasn't on the radio. I don't like MTV, so I was never around and stuff was. So
shout out to Alyssa Milano though for being in this video when Blink-182 wasn't even that famous, because you know everyone that would have been into Blink-182 had the biggest crush in the world at Alyssa Milano in like 1998.
Shout out to Alyssa Milano for being an absolute psychopath.
In general, just shout out to Alyssa Milano.
That woman is so hot and she's just as crazy as she is attractive. I don't know if she's still attractive or not, but she was. She used to be.
I'll hit her up right now.
Bro, she used to go for it, buddy. Good luck, man. I'll help you out any way I can. But I put okay, so what I put on my notes of this song, actually, for Josie, I put sometimes I don't want to hear this song, but it's always a fantastic song, regardless of my mood that day. It's more often than not the right song. I know that everything is going to be fine. It's a perfect song about a girlfriend and not a breakup. Okay, yeah, wait, never mind. I don't know. This song always rules, though. Dude, my notes are so... Dude, you can tell I wrote them in like live, like while I'm listening.
Now,
and I never went back and like amended them.
Josie, just to throw some context, is the name of Mark's dog.
That's awesome. Is it really?
Because Josie was like an ideal woman, not a woman that actually existed. So that's why,
amazing. That's cool.
That's why she's perfect. She likes unwritten law and DHC and she, all these other things.
Fuck, that makes so much more sense. And now I like it even more because dogs are better than people. Let's just be honest.
Agreed.
Dude,
Where's my girl? Or where's my dog? Because girls are such.
Oh yeah, where's my girl? Like, come here, girl. Oh, it's amazing, bro. I didn't know that, dude. I love talking to you. I learned so much stuff because I don't pay attention. Okay, top 3, bro. Right. Top 3. This is a non-negotiable top 3. Okay. This is the top 3, not mine. I didn't pick this.
Legally binding, right?
Do what?
Legally binding. So if this changes,
legally binding,
you'll go to jail.
This is the top 3. If you argue this, if this is not your top 3 Blink-182 songs, first off, I don't want to hear it in the comments. Don't tell me how wrong I am. Do not call me a boomer. Do not tell me I suck. Don't call me old, even though I am most of those things.
All of those things are true.
Yeah, bro. It is what it is. So this is the top 3 Blink-182 songs of all time. They just coincidentally happen to be off of California and 9. So my apologies in advance. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So number 3 was honestly number 2 for a little bit until I got deeper into the discography again. Number 3 is Dumpweed. It's the opener of the best pop punk album of all time. It's immediately clear that the band has something special with this album. The production may be too much for a punk rocker, for like a real punk rocker, but for music, it's just amazing. The addition of Travis Barker is obvious right away, and it's clear that that it catapulted them forward past all other bands in this genre. It's got insane fills, just what a ridiculous song, and it's immediately obvious the upgrade that they got. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It just is what it is, bro. It's so good.
So someone described Blink once as like hardcore pop, and I think that's a really good descriptor of them. And I think a song like this would be a perfect way to like sort of what you're meaning by that. I love the way this song. It's a good intro. They often open their shows with Dumpweed, and it's
really?
Perfect. It's that that sort of like lightning intro, and then goes into just very very much like a NoFX skate punk type of thing, but built with that wall of sound that Travis creates with this song, where it sounds like there's like 15 musicians on stage, and it's really just
right.
3. It's an amazing and simple too, very simple, like Ramones type of chords and that type of thing, but just played at this level and bringing Travis in with the production. You should watch those Rick Beato videos, because he'll show how they're like layered, of like both guys singing, both guitar parts layered on, where you can't hear it out loud, but like there's that much detail, which probably had never been to like a pop punk song. You're putting that level of detail into this kind of simplistic music, and you get a masterpiece out of it. Like that's sort of what you get out of it, is that level of production and detail with the fun and the passion of like kind of legitimate punk rock too.
Right.
And you have what Blink-182 is. That's exactly what they are.
My apologies. 1 second. I just realized something. My feet are cold because it's colder than crap in this place, and I live in a raised house, so my floor is freezing cold right now. And I was like, I got slippers right around the corner from me. Okay, so bro, my slippers are actually Crocs, but whatever.
Ooh.
They're ugly as sin, but they're so comfortable. And right now, I'm still dealing with a foot injury.
Oh yeah.
My foot's been jacked for like 5 weeks now, man. So number 2, I would love for you to guess my number 2, and then after that, I would like you to guess my number 1. Okay. Separately, though, I want to do them in order. So, what do you think my number 2 might be?
Give me some hints. Give me some ranges or some.
Tom DeLonge. That's my hint.
Tom DeLonge.
Yeah. And whenever I tell you the song, you're gonna go, "Oh, that does make sense." That's the hint. That should be the hint, because
the hint is Tom. I have no idea. That's too bad of a hint.
Okay. Independence Day.
Okay, 4th of July. Hey, Mom, there's something in the background. Aliens exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom was right. Tom was right. Tom was right.
Number 2 is Aliens Exist, and my notes are this. This is exactly what I wrote. Tom was right all along, in all capitals. And then I put, I love this song so much. I know the CIA would say what you hear is all hearsay. I wish someone would tell me what was right. All right. Dude, I love that song so much. And it is the reason that song is the number 2 song is because for all these years, he was laughed at and mocked and all this shit. And it turns out he was actually telling the truth. That was no bullshit song. He wrote that song for real. And I thought it was so hilarious. Like later on, to go back and listen to that song, I literally laughed like out loud to myself. I mean, I crack up, dude, because it's so funny to me to hear him saying this stuff so earnestly. And people are like, "Oh, the silly kid." And he's like, no, dude, you don't understand. They're like, yeah, I get it. You're a pop punk guy. He's like, no. But there's like up there, they're like, no. I get it. You're a jokester. I get it. And all these years, he was like, no, I was being serious, bro.
But in like 2011 and stuff, whenever he's like doing the Angels and Airways stuff, we thought he was just crazy too. He's like,
I did think he was crazy.
Now he's crazy. Like, so they're but
dude, I thought he lost
his
mind, bro.
And whenever he said it, he said, I'm working with NASA. I thought he was one of these like Randy Quaid kind of guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought.
Come on, Randy Quaid. Come on, Randy Quaid.
That's what I thought. I thought they were going to make an album together. I don't know what the hell was going to happen, but
that would be amazing.
But now Blink's like the biggest band in the world. The government's admitting there's aliens, and Tom is just prophetic. It's great.
I never realized how big that fool was. Like, not Randy Quaid, but Tom DeLonge. Like in like his stature, like he's a large man.
Think of him as like a skinny punk kid, but he's
a big ass dude.
Yeah,
like he towers over both his bandmates. I didn't know that until recently.
Watch, let's see. I've always got like fashion influenced by Blink-182 for about 20 years, to the point that I'm now buying like I didn't realize I was always buying like the new era hats.
Oh, that's cool.
Trying to went backwards to try to go full Tom.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, that's exactly how he looks too. Wow, you look 15 years younger with that hat on. Bro, you got to hit up the razor, man. The bald look is so good on you, man.
Yeah, well, we're in between cuts right now. That's why.
Okay, yeah, dude, you got to like shave your beard. You're gonna look like you're 25 again. I'm gonna be super jealous because I'm definitely fat and old still. Okay, so what do you think my number one song is from Blink-182? Because it's not even my Blink-182. It's the number one song.
Okay, so
it's their best song.
Their best song. Give me another hint. Their best song. Okay, that's your hint for your number one song. It's their best song.
Strategically placed curse word.
Okay, damn it.
My man, you're 2 for 2 today.
Look at that.
That is the best Blink-182 song. I'm really good at giving hints too, though, because I know how you think. So I put as my notes my personal favorite Blink-182 song. It is the best Blink-182 song. It's a perfect blend of pop sensibilities in a punk rock song. This one is the catalyst to everything that they were going to become. Plus, it's about a girl and being lonely, outcast, or a dude put in the friend zone or whatever. The horrors of adolescence. That's what my notes say. And I think that that's undisputable. You can't argue this song is because if it wasn't for this song, they wouldn't have become who they became.
Absolutely. Again, I talk about my friend Mike interviewing Joey Cape of Lagwagon and him saying like, Lagwagon is headlining shows, and this little band Blink-182 has this new album Dude Ranch, and then all of a sudden they're seeing
so crazy.
They're seeing this single come out, and Joey's like, "Hey, next time we're probably going to open for you guys because of how big." Like without this song, there is no Anima. There's none of that. There is none of that without this song. So when I saw them when we were young, this was the only song from that era that they played. But they closed, the main part that's not the encore, like the real, the closer, kind of acknowledging this is their biggest banger. And I love that like this is the origin of it all. This is where it all starts. Like I'm okay if you don't acknowledge Cheshire as the beginning of Blink. I mean, it is, but I'm okay if you acknowledge Dude Ranch. But then you got to put this as the song. What I love about it is Mark's performance. Mark yells on this song for the first time. Mark has that plus 44 voice going on. Most other songs he does, he's kind of doing that like singing thing. This song, he's yelling. Maybe I'll see you at a movie. He's yelling, and it's kind of a cool tone.
Wait, you think he's yelling in that?
Yeah, it's like
I need to go back and listen to it again.
It's yelling. And he's talked about it like he wasn't a big smoker, but he was just kind of smoking that weekend, and so his voice was just a little more gruff than it normally had been, and that kind of stuff. So it just has this different sort of register to it, and I think it sticks out. And the making of it, the producers talked about it, where when he heard early Blink, he wanted more. He wanted Tom. He thought Tom was good. Tom was already kind of his like a finished product with like early Blink. He said it was Mark that he felt like he had to bring out and bring to the front to get on the level with Tom. And I think it was songs like this, and a lot of those songs do on Dude Ranch are Mark at like that lower like monotone key. A lot of the ones that you and I, in fact, like. This song is a little bit more of him at the more bouncy, a little bit more of what's going to be on What's My Age Again, a little bit more of what's going to be on those kind of songs as well. So there's a little bit of blueprints to the future, but it's also like this could have been a NoFX song. This could have been a Lagwagon song. This is very much a Fat Epitaph, Southern California punk rock song.
I would go as far as saying if I had never heard Dude Ranch and I picked up Blink-182 with Enema of the State, I wouldn't have been a fan of the band. Because when I first heard Blink and I heard Dude Ranch, I heard like faster, a little bit lesser, more raw produced music. And so it fit with other stuff. Like they were I hate that I have to say it like this, but they were my Descendants. I don't like the Descendants. So like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the band that I turned to for that kind of music in high school. And even then, I still listened to more serious music than I did anything else. Like I would probably have picked Dead Kennedys over Blink back then, which is funny because now I would never choose to listen to the Dead Kennedys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I don't think I would even have gone down the rabbit hole, the pathway, whatever you want to call it, man, to get to where I love this band so much if it hadn't have been specifically for Dude Ranch and specifically for Damn It. Because I remember it's one of those things where like when they say it on the radio and they're like, coming up next, Damn It from Blink-182. I remember being in the car and my mom turning it off. And all that did was the opposite of what she wanted to do. She turned it off, and I went, why'd she turn it off? Oh, she doesn't want to hear that. Why doesn't she want to hear that? Oh, I'm going to go listen to it then. And so I did. And parents do stuff like that. At least they used to. I'm not trying to do all that. But, like, they did things that were, like, super counterproductive to the desired outcome.
Did it with me all the time. Like, all the time.
It's weird, man. Really weird.
That's funny. You and I have a similar connection to this song because I said it was the song on the mixtape that was the one with the F word in it. And it's funny.
No,
like,
it is very similar. Yeah.
Snotty little Blink-182 was kind of making that connection. I would say Dude Ranch is unique though. Like I don't know a lot of albums that are that sort of like ugly, if you will, but also like on a major label and sound that good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I feel like a year later it would get cleaned up into Enema. You know, like it's a very unique time capsule of an like that's why it's an album that would more likely be on like an Epitaph or a Fat where the record label would just kind of let you have those songs. I don't feel like a record label would let a band not be that as non those songs are poppy to begin with, but like not have that polish on them. Like I can't explain what it is. It's a certain
think
zone.
about when it came out though. Think about it. Wasn't it like 97?
Yeah, 97, which the record labels were a little more receptive to that stuff back then though too.
Well, I mean, what was just now becoming less popular or not, how do I say it?
Well, because grunge was dying.
That's what I was okay. So this sound compared to like an old Nirvana outtake is probably far cleaner and more polished. And so they probably heard it and were like, that sounds good. Because it doesn't sound unrefined when you put it next to other songs from the same year.
Right. And that's the thing, like whenever you talk about movie sequels or anything, sometimes you think of the legacy of something only after the fact. Like at the time there wasn't an Enema and stuff to compare it to.
Right.
So it was some of the lightest punk rock that you did have, even though it's funny how it actually ages and gets more hardcore kind of with age because you have the totality of where they would go with it and how everything else kind of ended up too.
Yeah, it's definitely one of their more like punk rock songs.
Which, like straight up punk too, I think is the thing with that. Again, like I think it just could have been like a Kung Fu Records release. Like Dude Ranch really could have been
probably.
I don't know. I just don't know if it would ever sound as good if it was on any of those other labels. I say that because Epitaph has great sounding records. So yeah, Epitaph could have like Brett could have got something really great out of them. And I think that's one of those lost opportunities because they were kind of close to signing to Epitaph. Like I kind of wonder, I'm glad it didn't happen probably because that would have maybe made history and a whole other thing that we don't want to deal with. And I think history played up the way it should have been. But I do kind of wonder like, what if Brett didn't run Epitaph and he could have just gone and produced like one of these Blink albums or something? What does it sound like then? But then you don't have Jerry Finn producing it. And then so it's, step on a cockroach and who knows what happens, but fun to think about.
It's weird, man. I would love to see what would happen if Epitaph had gotten their hands on a couple more just stellar albums, like just crazy high selling. You know what I'm saying? Like Rancid stuff, that stuff is going to be great no matter what label it's on because of those dudes. But like, what would Epitaph have been with another Offspring smash? Like, what would happen?
Well, like Sum 41 kind of wanted to be like on Epitaph, and again, what kind of like Blink wasn't quite cool enough necessarily to be on there, but like all these ones that were inspired by those bands that had other pop sensibilities. Yeah, like what the hell would Sum 41 have done on Epitaph? That would have been amazing to me.
That would have been cool. I think they would have been a better band, personally.
I think
new shit is terrible, dude. That new Sum 41 stuff is hot garbage, bro. It is so bad. I'm so disappointed in it. The first, good, dude. Call it quits, fellas. You've lost it. Their first single was like pretty good, and then they've had I think 2 since then, and they're both just phoning it in, bro. Like if you're not gonna put more effort than that in a song, just don't make it, bro. And Derek, why does he look so weird? He looks 25 years older than he is.
Well, he almost died like 10 years ago, and he's kind of that's been the case. He hasn't really been the same since then. Yeah,
did not know that.
Yeah, he's like liver shut down, like the whole kind of thing.
Well, let's rewind that. Retract what I just said. No, I'm playing, but like it is what it is. I said what I said. I didn't know that. So
No, but that's why it looks like he looks tired and stuff all the time though too.
He really does.
Yeah.
Well, now I won't talk shit about it at least, but my man definitely shouldn't be in front of a camera. His little thing he does, I hate it. I fucking hate it. You see what I'm doing? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Where he does this, where he's singing and he does this thing.
Oh yeah.
Like his knees go like knock-kneed, and he's like, and I'm like, bro, you were like 60 years old. Stop it. You're gonna break a hip. Dude.
Trying to do like the Iggy Pop thing, but he's not quite like or Joey Ramone, but not quite long like those guys.
Yeah. He's like too short. That's what it is.
Even like Steven Tyler kind of has that, like,
Shout out to Derek and Sum 41 though, for real, man. Those dudes have a couple of albums that I personally really enjoy.
You really like them too. You really do like them a lot.
I do like their earlier material a lot. Like a lot. Like I prefer, like if I had to put them up against all other punk rock bands, or excuse me, pop punk bands from that era, like if I had to right now pick, Does This Look Infected, Insomniac, or Enema of the State, I would probably pick Does This Look Infected. It's a little heavier, it's a little faster, it's got better guitar work. And also I haven't heard it as much. There's that has to be, said. I haven't heard it as much, so there's a little less like, okay, let's make it through this album again. Because Insomniac, bro, I love that record. I've listened to it a lot. Dude, people got so upset that I said, is this album just Father of All Part 2? And I'm like, you didn't even watch the review because it wasn't live yet. People were already mad. I'm like, you didn't even watch the review. If you watch the review, you'll know why I said that. And honestly, go listen to the record before you get pissed at me. Not you, but like, dude, this album's, people are going to hate this record, dude. I don't think you're going to like it at all. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, but I like it a lot. It's a good quality record, great production. Lyrically, I think it's really strong. But I would be surprised if you're like, yeah, that shit was awesome. I'm going to be shocked. But who knows? Maybe you will. I hope you do. I hope you like it a lot. Yeah. Why the hell would I want you to not like it?
I don't know. Sometimes it's fun. Hating shit is fun, but not when it's hating stuff from people you like.
Correct. Like, man, New Ransom sucks, bro. Let's go.
I don't even want to shit on a band. I'm trying to think of like if someone can release something and I'll be like, their new stuff sucks. That's awesome.
Dude, I love shitting on bands, dude. It's because I think it's funny that people take it so seriously. I'm like, why are you that upset about my opinion on a band? Because I like them. Okay, I just don't understand that. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's an internet brain thing, though. I was talking to my son the other day, and he was talking about a sports team, and he was mad about all the takes about them. And I was like, yeah, but I care more about the reality of the future of the team versus like what this commentator is going to say.
You know,
and I was like, well, why are you? I was like, you're just being internet brained. I told him, I was like, just get off your phone for a minute and like,
dude, for real,
smell the real world, and you won't be so consumed by that.
Do you know how many people talk shit about Rancid in the punk rock community?
Yeah,
dude, so many. I don't care. They're my favorite band. Like, I just don't understand it. I'm not going to even go on a video. Like, and here's the thing is I watch a lot of YouTube because that's the platform that I'm on. That's where I produce my content. And I watch videos where people shit on Rancid. I don't even usually make it through the whole video. And I don't think I've ever left a comment on one because I'm not going to sit there and talk shit about a person's opinion because that's their opinion. They're entitled to it. Like, they can have their opinion. If I agree with somebody, I might go, hey man, good job. I liked your video. Like that kind of stuff. But I don't go on somebody's video or if they really like, let's say they're still jamming Anti-Flag. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't care. Like I'm not going to go in there and be like, oh, you're blah, blah, blah. Dude, that is between you and whatever, bro. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. That's my decision. You do whatever you want, bro. Never mind. Conversation for another video. But okay. So my thought process for next week was, dude, this might not take as much research, and it's something that I think we probably have very different opinions on. What about let's do our top 10 vocalists, bro?
Yes, that'll be fun.
Yes,
you care about that. Not John, say you care about that more, but you're like a vocal guy.
I do care about it a little bit more. It's okay, say it. Yeah. It's all right. You care about things that I don't care about.
That's something that I don't notice the details of as much.
I mean, you care about it. It's not like you go, I don't care what they sound like. That's crazy. But like, I definitely, it's more important to me. I have
more of a technical standpoint.
Yeah, I have like vocalists that I'm passionate about because of their vocalists.
So this will be fun because there's no freaking rules on this. Like, this will be insane.
I mean, punk rock is the only rule.
Yeah, but that's generally what you and I consider with music. Like,
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure and clarify that I'm talking about top 10.
Well, damn it, I was going to put Adele. I was going to put Jennifer Hudson.
Dude. Okay, so here's some. Speaking of Adele,
Whitney Houston.
My man said Jennifer Hudson.
She's got a great voice. Whitney Hudson, great. Or what's
you're not wrong, but that was one that I wouldn't have pegged you to say. That's funny.
I know my music.
So somebody, I don't know, Rob, but somebody the other day was telling me that Offspring Smash is not the high-selling independent record of all time.
What is it then?
They said it was an Adele record.
But you can't. No. We're not doing that shit. So maybe technically, but record labels don't matter anymore. Like that's not. Like even if it is, like no.
Bro, I got so mad. I was so pissed off.
I've been quoting that to people for like 10 years.
Me too. I felt like, oh no, what did I do? Like I'm glad you're panicking because I went into a full-on panic. I was like, oh shit. Am I wrong about this?
I'm already not going to concede it because there's no way Adele's not a major label artist. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's 2023. Like if you're promoted like that, I don't know.
So my response is that whether she was on a major label or not, the machine was behind her.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like that's still major. That's capital. That's,
Yeah. And so Epitaph was a tiny ass label that almost couldn't produce the amount of records needed for that Offspring album.
One out of a literal garage by punk rocker. Yeah. Let's see. So format. This stuff doesn't even come out on like CD too. Like you have to have been like a CD too. You had to be in stores too. Like that's.
Dude, okay. I'm gonna say that next time, dude. How many of them were purchased, bro? Purchased.
Okay,
how many physical copies were purchased?
Her first album is issued through Columbia, so wrong on there. Commenter.
Wait, was it really?
Yeah.
Her first album was issued through Columbia.
XL in Columbia. So I don't know what this XL is probably. So XL is British. It's probably like say if Epitaph released something with Warner, that's probably what it is.
So
but still, that's not what the Offspring did. The Offspring released on Smash, like on Epitaph.
So I responded with, I don't know, man. All I'm seeing here is that her stuff was associated with Columbia, and the guy kept telling me, no, dude, it wasn't. It was this label, and it was not. And I didn't see anywhere where it wasn't. So I don't know what he's talking about. But he was diligent with his. Dude, he was not budging, dude. We talked about it for like a good afternoon, man. We went back and forth a lot, not like a bad way. He was nice about it. He was being very polite.
I'm not seeing like two different. So like say like, and this is kind of a funny spin here. Say like Bad Religion's Recipe for Hate was released on Epitaph, but they got signed like 2 months after. So then Atlantic re-released Recipe for Hate. So the Recipe for Hate got released to both. I don't know that there was two releases of it. It sounds like they might have bought the indie is what I'm thinking of. Kind of like I was saying with the Blink, like where Epitaph would have had to buy Cargo to have Blink-182. That was
my other thought. My other thought is that, so an indie label put it out and then they got bought by a major and then they left it under the name of the indie label, but then the major distributed it. That's not a fucking indie label, dude.
That's not Fletcher and the guy on the forklift drinking beer in the warehouse. That's just not the same thing. Like, I'm sorry.
I was really surprised that a guy that watched a punk rock video wanted to argue that too. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? We're talking about it's like saying that like the Beatles didn't outsell the Jonas Brothers or something. Like, what are you talking? Of course they did.
I mean, technically, like the Jonas Brothers and Taylor Swift outsell the Beatles like crazy because there's more people on Earth. There's more ways for them to. Like,
that's a really good point because even now from the 90s, there's probably 2 or 3 times people.
Yeah, and just ways to get access, like we talked about earlier, ways to get access to that stuff. Like where you live doesn't matter as much of how you can access.
Yeah, dude, the Offspring are the kings of that, dude. People say whatever they want.
But yeah, but again, I just still wouldn't consider it unless like a band like from your like label broke. I wouldn't even consider that. Right. Like to me, modern day, if you're in pop music, your label doesn't matter. Nowadays, if you just have to kind of be in pop music and then you're in. Yeah. You're either in or you're out now. Where it's like the Epitaph thing. No, like those guys had to actually like do it. I don't know what that means, but like dude,
if like BSD or Poppers busted out all of a sudden, and I had to go repress 10,000 copies of their tape and a bunch of the LPs. That is independent, bro. That's independent. But if they broke because somebody from Sony heard them and then Sony reached out and wanted to invest in my label, that is no longer independent.
Right. And to be fair, and you can have whatever opinion you wanted. Brett specifically did not get help with he turned all that down specifically at that time and place in the mid-90s. So he received no help very specifically because he knew that Epitaph, in order for it to survive into the next decade, needed to have people like us, like you and I, just worship them. You know, and
well, what a great piece of like foresight and like wisdom that man had back then.
What a risk that was, though, too. Like what a risk that was, because like how easy would it have been? He said literally $5 million offer to buy the Offspring records from us, and we're just like, no, we got to keep our punk credibility for a guy who was in the band that had just sold out themselves. So, but he kind of. I
was going to mention that.
But he kind of knew like that was he quit that band though to stay with this label. So it's probably from your perspective of like, this is mine though. Now it won't be mine anymore. This is mine. This is what I have, and I will lose it if I don't have this now. And it turned out to be the right decision. It could have been the wrong decision. Like something could have just broken
easily
another way. You know, like Rancid, like Outcome the Wolves could have just sucked. You know what I mean? And who knows how stuff would have just went, or they could have, Tim could have started drinking or something, or
that is probably the more likely of scenario.
Yeah, anything like that
was going to be, man, dude. I'm so glad that didn't happen.
That might could have, gone to prison or something, and Punk and Drublic doesn't come out in that year. Like, stuff could have happened, and they could have went under.
Dude,
they survived it though. And
how weird is the connection between Fat Mike, NoFX, Fat Records, and Epitaph and Bad Religion? How weird is that? It is the strangest.
So it's different.
Connection.
To me, it's different than to me, Rancid and so here's a weird sports analogy. So Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson are peers, even though one was a coach and one was the player. They are peers. Tim Armstrong and Brett Gurewitz are peers. One's the coach and one's the player, but they're peers. Whereas Fat Mike is Kobe Bryant to the Phil Jackson of that Bad Religion. Fat Mike wants to be Brett Gurewitz. I think Tim and them, so he wanted to have his own label. And like I said, he never wanted.
That's a good analogy.
He just wanted to sign the people that he was on the road with. Like he always said, like Epitaph probably wasn't going to sign No Use for a Name or Lagwagon or Propaganda. So I signed him, but he also had the business sense. He has all the qualities that like the predecessor had. But
well, I mean, like later in life, dude, Fat Mike is definitely winning, bro. That guy's doing the damn thing. I'm happy for him.
Right. And early on, there was a little bit of tension by him starting the label, but he's like, but we didn't take our band.
Really?
Yeah. And he was like, we didn't take our band off the label. Like we sold a lot more than like Lagwagon would have sold for Epitaph. We stayed on the label.
I didn't realize there was some like
and they get
bad
along.
blood there.
They get along, but it's like a professional jealousy thing that the two have always kind of engaged in. And Fat Mike readily admits that I learned how to run a label by working for Brett. I literally saw, how do you do invoices? How do you do all that? Like I learned all that. He sort of sponged all that up from being an employee of.
That's wild, bro.
But he always says like we were in a different part of the country. We had the metal punk, we had the fat bands. They had the real skate band. So and for me now it is one. Even though now they are two different camps. But you and I say it all the time. The Fat Epitaph bands, and we know what we're talking about. We know we're kind of like that 90s kind of skate punk and all that entails. So it's almost kind of merged into one thing now too in a lot of ways.
Right. I think so, man. What a crazy episode this was. It was fun.
All over the place. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I had a good time, man. And my Blink list is pretty eclectic. I'm excited to see the I would say very polarizing opinions on my personal list. And I don't mean that, and I don't care, man. Whatever, dude. People can say what they want. I wish I could make myself not engage. That's what I wish. I don't have it in me, bro. I have to. But it's part of the fun, man. It's part of the fun. Oh, so okay. Right now, I'm sitting at 3,261 subscribers, which I think is a pretty fantastic number, man. I'm really proud of that. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to go ahead and sack up, and I'm going to reach out to Fat Mike, and I'm going to see if I can get him on the show.
Right.
I don't know that it's possible, but I have a couple of email addresses that I probably wouldn't have if I hadn't gone to Vegas. So I'm going to just be like, I mean, dude, look, what makes you not willing to get on a podcast that Brad Logan got on? I would love to have an answer to that. Not you, clearly, but like Mike. Mm-hmm. What makes him so special that he wouldn't get on a show that Brad Logan got on? Because I put Brad Logan in the same category as Fat Mike and Lars, as far as just somebody I would want to talk to. Like, not because they've accomplished the same things, because that's a scale. It's a sliding scale. But they are all people that I love and admire, and I would love to talk to. So, and I don't say that to disrespect Mike. I think that he's probably going to be more receptive to it than even I expect. And I think if I can get Mike on for even 20 minutes, then I might be able to get Lars on. And that's my goal. So that is the white whale. We will see one day. Either way, man, I got guests coming. I got some local bands coming on. Poppers are fixing to do like a Texas thing, so I'm gonna have them on tonight. And dude. Yeah, those are my boys, man. They're good people. I just did a rush order of like 32 shirts for those guys. It was a nightmare. So I'm glad it's over with. But cool, man. Awesome. Well, if you need something from me, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week with our top 10 punk rock vocalists of all time. And I promise I'll keep it at 15 or less. I was gonna say 10, and I was like, I'm gonna stick my foot right in my mouth, but it'll probably be about 10, man. I would think so.
A little easier than songs,
yeah, much easier, I think, especially with a band that's so important to us. So, all right, everybody, have a great day, man. If you're in Texas, stay warm, stay safe. Actually, if you're anywhere in the South, it seems to be really cold right now, so just stay safe. Everybody else, have a great day. If you need something from a boy, hit me up. Don't forget, you can email me now at thepunkrockreview@gmail.com. Rob, hang tight. I got something to tell you after this. All right, guys, peace. So yesterday I was at work and I was hanging out so the way that my record store works is I'm in an antique mall. So it's a one big complex. And when you go in the door, each place has its own door. So it's like a mini mall with like lower ceilings. It's not like this giant open air place, right? There's no second story or anything like that. So I routinely will just lock my door because my door is the record store has a gate. I can lock it so people can still see in, right? And so I'll lock it and put a little note up like, hey, be back in 10 minutes, going to take a break. And I'll go walk down to like my buddy Lonesome Frog Records. That's my homie. He's always on the live streams with me and stuff. Or I'll go down and see the dudes that sell movies, or my friend Julie, who's always on the live streams. Those are people that I work with. So I was down yesterday and we were talking, and the guy across the hall from the record shop that I hang out at, he's like a military guy. And I guess I walked into a conversation that I wasn't prepared for, dude. I'm like, da-da-da. And I walk in and I got like, battle vest, hoodie, tattoos. Like, and I was just like, hey, what's up, Bill? And I'm like, shake his hand. And then I'll say, hey, what's up, dude? To the other guy. And I dap him up. And then we're talking and they're talking about just like the state of things, right? Which isn't a conversation that I want to have for many reasons, but one being that I'm likely not going to agree with a guy that's 12 years my senior and in the military. Like, I'm just not going to probably agree with this dude. Right. And we get into the conversation about how it just all of a sudden starts talking about how the military is going to shit, man. The country is going to hell because the morals in the military aren't being upheld. And I was like, yo, what are you talking about? And I was like, are you talking about like the fact that they'll just kill people and we'll get into people's business without being asked? And he was like, huh? And I was like, wait, what are you talking? And I genuinely thought that's what he was talking about. And he's like, no, the gays in the military. And I was like, what's wrong with it? And I was like, what happened? And I was like, wait, why do you care if somebody's gay? He's like, well, it brings the morale down. And I was like, what morale? And he's like, all the guys, they're worried about some dude staring at them. And I was like, why are they worried? These tough guys are worried about some dude staring at them. I was like, are you under the impression that dudes stare at your dick? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, how arrogant are you? Oh, we got into a huge debate, bro. I was so pissed off.
I love it.
I was so mad because like, it's so dumb. Look, dude, I'm like relatively like religious, if you want to call it that. I don't be judging nobody, bro. It ain't in my time. I don't got time for it. No, be nice. Like it is okay to be nice to people. And I was like, but I wasn't even arguing with the dude. Like I was the calmest I've probably ever been. And you could tell I was irritated by how animated I was not. I was like sitting back, like just standing there. And I was like, so what's the issue with it? And he's like, well, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm like, you just said it was wrong. What's the issue with it? And he was like, well, it brings the morale down and the guys don't want to be around a bunch of dudes. And I was like, oh my goodness, bro. And then he's like, well, the transgenders. And I was like, okay, look, I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm asking you for the reason that it's wrong. And he couldn't give me a reason. He just was irritated by it. And I was like, you're allowed to be irritated. Dude, if you want to be that way, be that way. I was like, you fought for the right to say these things. Say them. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just questioning where you're coming from because it just doesn't make sense to me. And dude just was like, his head was about to pop, bro. He couldn't figure out what I meant. And all I wanted to know is why is it wrong? And what do you want to do about it? And there was no answer given. All they could stand on was, and it ended up being 3 military dudes and me talking. And I was like, bro, what they didn't know was that I had a father who was 17 years Army. So I grew up around that. And that I took the ASVAB test and I was accepted into the U.S. Army. Okay. They didn't know this. I told them way later. When I told them that, they were all like irritated because I clearly knew a little bit about a little bit. I don't know a lot about it at all. I don't want to know a lot about it. I'm not going to go out there and do the things that our country wants us to do. I think that most of it's, as far as I know, and I'm not an expert on it, it seems kind of crazy to me. But like to tell some dude that's gay he can't be in the Army because he's gay is so stupid. It sounds exactly like you can't drink this water because you're black. That's what it sounds like to me. And I don't stand by any of that shit. But I'll tell you what, bro, I was proud of myself for standing up for that dude and whoever these people are that they're talking about, because I was getting dogpiled by these guys. They were, all three of them were pretty irritated. And I was like, man, look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I wasn't. I was like, y'all are getting upset. I'm not. I just asked a question because y'all said some shit that I think is super inappropriate and kind of mean. And I was like, I just wanted to ask. And y'all got upset by it. That tells me that you don't really have an argument. If you had an argument, you wouldn't have got all mad. You would have been like, well, this is why, this is why, this is why. Because my personal opinion is I don't care who you are, what you do. If you're not willing to pull a trigger, I don't want you standing by my side in the military. Don't matter what your sexual orientation is, bro. I know lots of straight cowards out there. And by straight cowards, I don't mean straight cowards as in they're straight up cowards. I mean straight, cowards. Straight men that are cowards. And I don't want them protecting me any more than I want some dude that is not, I don't know, in scrapbooking, I guess. I don't know what they think these dudes are doing out there. Like, bro, can you imagine? Just a bunch of gay dudes, but like the real gay dudes, the flamboyant gay dudes, like the ones I like to hang out with out there, like fixing up their uniform and shit, and then going out there and being like, like that's not how it is, dude. The guys that are,
I mean, maybe we might actually win a war again. Maybe if we did that, I don't know. Just saying.
You know, look, dude. There's no look where I'm at, what I do, where I conduct my business. There is no place for hatred. There's no place for intolerance, and I don't even understand everything, and I don't agree with everything across the board. I'm just saying that you got to be nice. You have to be willing to listen. At least I think. And I don't listen very well. I talk a lot, bro. So if I'm saying this, come on, man. It blew my mind. It really did. And in no disrespect to the military dudes either. They were being nice at the end of the day. But I heard it and I was like, I have to ask this dude what he's talking. I have to question this. Because mean, I'm built like this, bro. You know that. Like, this is just how I am. Like, there's no way that conversation was happening around me and I wasn't butting in, dude. I just wasn't going to sit there and let that guy say that shit because it was so dumb. It's just so dumb. I mean, if I was at Denny's eating dinner and a guy behind me was doing that, I would literally be like, hold on one second, put my food down. I'd be like, what were you saying, bro? Like, I've done that stuff before. Like, it's just, come on, man. Let's be better.